They're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism! And they say, they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah, you're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett, when you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. It's the call-in show, and tonight it's the ABCD call-in show. So that means if you're in the queue, as long as you're anyone but a cis dude, you're welcome to call in. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait till next Sunday. We don't want to have to flush you down the toilet. We gotta get the toilet sound effects. I'm gonna put that on my to-do list now. The number to dial is 614-655-3887. As always, Street Fight Radio takes calls every Sunday night, 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. You can find the show on all of your podcasting apps, whether that's Spotify, Google Play, Apple, iPod, iTunes app, whatever it is. I don't know the name of it anymore. Just podcast, I think. But we're also live streaming on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. We need more people to subscribe on Twitch, actually. We can get partner status if we get more live viewers on Twitch. So we're going to start pushing that. If you can, watch the show over on Twitch. You'll be able to chat with everybody. We got a unified chat for all of the live show people. So watch it where you want, but Twitch is the big push right now. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quimby. We're Street Fight Radio, the number one anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We're going to be live in your city. And we're going to be live in Columbus, Pittsburgh, Florida, New York City, Philadelphia, Portland, Maine, Boston, Massachusetts. That's all that information is available at streetfightradio.com. Go get your tickets now. We need it to reserve all of the rooms and the bus and all of that stuff. So if you got the money now, you can buy your ticket and it helps us fund the trip. And then there's always, as always, discount tickets available. So if you can't afford a full price ticket, we'll get someone else to take care of it so that way you can get into the show. Tonight is the ABCD call-in show, like I said, and we have a very special quest. We have a very special guest.
It's also a quest, though.
Very special quest. Make it through this show. This week for the Anyone But Cis Dudes call-in show, we have our youth correspondent, Rachel.
Reports that it was bad. You know what I mean? They were like this married with
bad or
like
dirty.
Like dirty
Goes
and
too far.
edgy and it goes too far, right? And I would watch it and Al Bundy would always be like, I don't want to have sex.
Yeah, like, ew, my hot wife.
Yeah.
Like, I never understood it. I agree.
And I was just like terrified that I was going to get old and get a wife and be like, I don't want to have sex with her.
Run away
ever.
from your horny, go hide from your horny wife somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it the other night just to see what it was all about again, and it took me back. Old days. They can't do that anymore. They can't make a show like that.
No. Like I was
It's
watching.
weird. It's great also to see, like, I love that show because everything in their house was like fucking used furniture. Like there was nothing new on that set. They lived in such a beat up, well-worn house, which you don't get that on any television shows anymore. I never saw like the messy house that I grew up on TV ever again.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say it was like believable, but like it was very like set the bar, like very average. Like you didn't feel bad about yourself watching Married with Children.
Right.
Well, in
like,
the
oh,
Darcy's
that's
house,
pretty nice.
the Darcy's house wasn't that nice either. You know what I mean? Like they were supposed to be like the rich people, and you go in their house, and it just looks like a regular old person's house. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was nobody was like super rich in that show, which was nice, you know. And they were always pissed off about a bill. Guys, I swear I remember so many episodes of that show where it was just like we got to pay this bill.
Oh yeah.
And he hated his job.
He did.
Al hated his job so much.
He hated his life. He hated his life. Horny wife. I don't know.
He wanted to watch
son. Like.
Yep.
He wanted to watch TV is what he wanted to do,
Yeah.
which is like a lot of us really wouldn't mind like an hour or two just watching TV.
Your favorite show.
You know, when you have kids and you're married, which is what the premise of that show is.
And you don't have a cell phone.
And you don't have a cell phone.
Damn cell phones.
But no, let's even just say it now. Like, how often do you get to sit down and watch like 2 hours of TV without first? You have to do the thing where you like have to figure out what to watch that everybody agrees on or that two people agree on. And
I don't think Al cared what anybody else was watching though.
Huh?
Al didn't care about. Right.
That's what I wanted. I want to not care what other people want to watch. He wants to watch football, and that's what he's watching. And if you want to fucking watch the TV in the house, well, football's on. You can sit with Al and watch the football. That's how my dad ran things.
Yeah.
I don't run things like that, dude.
It also seemed like everyone else got the luxury of sitting around to watch TV all day, and he just was like working hard, peddling shoes, and he just wanted to come home and unload.
Al Bundy
I understand.
Al Bundy worked hard. He hated putting those shoes on them
He
women.
hated everybody's foot.
He hated every woman's that came into that store to buy shoes. Like, that was another great thing about it, is him just coming home and being mad about having to do the shoe thing at the end of the end of the day. If he walked in from work, he was just like, this fucking woman came in there with these huge feet. Well, the premise was always that, and I don't believe this stereotype. Here's something I've learned. Let me throw this way back. Let me go way back into this, okay? First, I was shopping with my daughter earlier in the week, right?
You threw it way back to earlier in the week.
And me and my wife, earlier in the week, we're shopping. I got some clothes, so, you know, I buy them online. But my wife wanted some clothes, and my daughter wanted some clothes. And we went and we looked at pants and stuff like that, and shoes. And, like, for the first time, I considered somebody else other than me. And I said to them, buying clothes for a woman seems like fucking hell. Because everything's got to be cut so fucking weird. And it's just like the thing that's been set up for us is that, like, doesn't really matter how they fit, really, to tell you the truth. I mean, you know, if you put the clothes on and they fit around your waist and the shirt doesn't go down to your knees, people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's dressed like a dude." You know what I mean?
It's they give you a tent for the top, to just cover the top, and then they take a square piece of denim and they cut it down the middle for legs, and then that's the pants.
I know.
There's
That's what I was thinking. So
curvy guys can't win when it comes to jeans.
No, poor guys.
So Al Bundy would be so fucking furious because women came in and they asked for smaller shoes than their size. But it's like, I'll bet you the women's shoes are also a pain in the ass to fit, you know? Like, it feels like all the clothes in the world. First of all, men, people say that men, like, don't care about their clothes or don't care as much about their clothes as women. But the thing is, men just have the easiest job buying clothes. It's so easy. There are almost no expectations when it comes to us. For women, it feels like they make everything hard for them.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
You have to know your inseam and your measurements off the top of your head if you want to buy online. But that's like, that could be said about, I don't know what your experience is like buying.
No, you just
offline.
have to know your waist. In
yeah,
my world.
I know my whole measurements because I have to buy offline. 8.5 wide, in case anyone's wondering, for shoes. But yeah, it's all super complicated for women. But
it's weird. I don't understand why they do. Like, I don't understand why they have to do 47 different shapes of jeans. Like, and I know that's a capitalism thing. That's not like women demanding something like that.
No.
But you do not see you don't see a bunch of different cuts of jeans when you go in the men's section, right?
It has a lot to do. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say they don't ever do it also where they're like, those jeans you liked before, we're not making them anymore.
It's
They're not
always
cool.
like
They're not fucking fashionable. It's time for pencil stick jeans or whatever it is, matchstick jeans.
Yeah,
It's time
matchstick jeans,
it's boot
boyfriend
cut
jeans.
Yeah, boot cut jeans, or
Mom
everybody's gonna have to
jeans.
wear those. Mom
Yeah.
jeans. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I feel for them. I do. I used to get so mad at my wife, like when we were first together, because she would always be like, I gotta get new clothes. And I'd be like, what's wrong with all the clothes you got? And then she would go to buy stuff, and it would take her for fucking ever to find something. So I'm in the store with her because I was Al Bundy at that time. I was kind of like I was like a version of Al Bundy that was like, my wife's going shopping for clothes.
Grumpy.
I gotta go with her.
Yep.
You know.
They give you the little husband chair that they put right by the fitting room. I actually we were at Dress Barn and they're going out of business, so we bought 2 of the husband chairs that were in the dressing room because it was a really good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal. I mean, there's farts embedded from years and years of husbands and sons, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go with her and stand around while she shopped, and I would be like shaking with anger because whenever I would go, it was like, I'm looking for a 2X t-shirt and a pair of size 36 jeans or pants, and that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all the information I need to know if it's gonna fit, and it will fit. It will go on. I even have to try it on.
Yeah.
And then she would have to be going in and out trying stuff on. I just remember being like, God, why do you fucking have to try everything on?
Yeah, Erica gets defeated very quickly. She will go and do it for about 8 minutes, and like, she's like, I hate this. I'm like, isn't it like Cyndi Lauper supposed to start playing? And like, you're running around here trying all this stuff. And you're like, no, it makes me, every time I put something on, I feel bad about myself.
It takes one pair of jeans that doesn't go slide right up. That you're just like, fuck, man. I mean,
Yeah, my life is out of control.
Yeah, and also it doesn't help. Like the mirrors in the dressing rooms are always like fun house mirrors, and you're just like, oh God, I gained 20 pounds in the last 5 minutes. Yes, it's hard to like feel good in that situation.
Yeah, Katie used to tell me like that, because like you do, if you watched pop culture in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, you would like believe that women be shopping. That was like their favorite thing to do, but that was because men were writing because they would go shopping and they would be there an extra long time because the women were like actually trying stuff on because you have to see how it fits. So they would write these whole things where it's like, oh, these women, they shop 8 hours a day. And it's like, why did you go? That's always been with me. It's like, why did you go? You know, I'm a very big proponent nowadays of, if you don't want to be somewhere, don't go. Like, don't go to a place you don't want to go. And you know what? When it comes to in-laws, okay, Rachel is actually my niece, so I am allowed to say this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to in-laws, you don't have to have a relationship with them to be married to their partner, their person. And,
sure.
and like, it took me a very long time to learn that if I go over to that house and I'm miserable, that nobody's happy in that situation. No. Now, if I stay home 99% of the time, and then you have to go over there sometimes. You go over there 1% of the time.
You don't go there one time, they're like, oh, where were you last time? We missed you.
Yeah, but that's fine. I can handle that. That's a good part of conversation that doesn't have like racism or anything in it. You know what I mean?
It just pisses me off. I'm just like, my car is older than me. Like, I barely get to my job. Like, I'm not fucking driving 2 hours out of my day. I'm going to get a ride when I can, and you're going to be grateful.
I think for me, it's just very hard to like, I think for me, it's like, a lot of people get in relationships where there are these things set up, right? So when me and Katie first started dating, we hung out at her parents' house every single Sunday. The whole family would go over to her parents' house every single Sunday. Now, you were a very young kid, so you probably didn't know that I was miserable all of the time when I was there. because I didn't act miserable, because why would I? But
I mean, you were fun.
every Sunday,
Kids.
right before we went over there,
Yeah.
I complained the entire time until we knocked on the door.
I don't blame you. I really don't, though. I mean, obviously, like, I didn't start getting wise to it until I was older because I was a kid and that was like what I knew. But the more I get to know them as an adult, it's just super unsettling and kind of
It's weird. It's weird seeing your grandparents in like that different way once you get a little older.
So
right?
because you're just like, oh, sweet grandma has this weird thing against Native Americans. I'm just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, grandma?
Grandma,
What the fuck?
Grandma posted a thing earlier this week about socialism. She posted that she posted V-Day in Times Square, and it said, "Does anybody remember when we all gathered together as a world to defeat socialism? Now these kids are trying to vote for it." So that's a bad opinion, Grandma. Grandma also loves to post that Irish people were once slaves.
That's great.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Italian people love to pull that card too. I think it's the dumbest shit ever. I'm like, you're fucking white. Shut up.
So, Rachel, you're our youth correspondent here. You born and raised in Columbus
Yes.
for the most part.
Yeah.
What's your day to day like? What's your
Day to day, I work a lot. I work retail.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
You don't
a
have
living.
to say that to these people.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
can.
living.
Yeah.
I get to work with makeup, so that's fun because I actually do like that aspect. The retail part, it can suck my butt, but
Yeah, dealing with customers.
yeah, it's a living.
Did you like, was your thing like, I want to do makeup for a
No.
job and then got the job there, or did you get the job there and decide you like doing makeup?
I decided that I didn't want to. I didn't want to be food service anymore, so that was like my main thing.
Yeah.
Big
So
move
you
in a
gotta make that
person's life.
decision.
Yeah, I
Where
worked
did you start? Yeah.
Oh God, I've worked several food service jobs. I've been a job hopper because our unreliable rides and all that shit. But a lot of food service. I served. I worked. Cane's was my last job before Sephora. And
How's
that's-
Cane's?
Oh,
I gotta ask how
Cane's.
Cane's is.
Okay, it's like a cult. They make you memorize all this shit about like the founder and the original store, and they quiz you on it, and you have to know the 4 pillars of service, and you have to learn the way that the book says to cook the food step by step, and they quiz you on that shit too. And they treat you like a lazy fuck if you don't want to give your life to them, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically.
Can you imagine asking somebody, what were they paying?
Oh God, I think I got like $9.75.
So you're paying somebody $9.75 an hour, and you want them to know the founder of the company.
Oh, I wanted them to suck my ass so hard, and it just, yeah. Once I got into Sephora and they hired me on after seasonal, I was like, fuck y'all.
Yeah. So Kane, what was your worst one? What was your worst food service job? Was it Cane's?
It was Cane's.
Didn't you?
Just because,
Can I ask? Did you start at McDonald's?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's
First
me.
job, yeah.
That's first job
It was
McDonald's
super
crew.
fun though, because I worked with all my like my high school friends.
Yeah.
So it was hella fun. We just fucked around all the time. The managers just wanted to like smoke weed with their employees and be liked. It was the best, and I didn't appreciate it at all. I was like, fuck this. I hate working. I had it easy. I didn't pay rent. 17-year-old Ray was a dumb, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a great job, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's been my experience. That was like in my early working days from like probably 16 to like 25 or whatever. It was just almost like it didn't matter if it paid $7 an hour as long as it was like a good time to be there. Cause like I was telling Gwen yesterday, we were kind of bullshitting, and we drove by the pizza shop in our neighborhood, Granddad's Pizza. And she was like, everybody that works in there goes to my school. And I was like, and they say, and she's like, it's the most fun place to work in the neighborhood. And I'm like, pizza shops are fun. It's like people don't like want you to know about it. But when you work at a pizza shop, if you don't have to pay your rent, working at a pizza shop is truly the best group of people to work with in the world.
I mean, you remember like everyone in our family at one point worked at Angie's Pizza in on like not Core, right? That's where
Yeah, I worked there.
night.
Yeah, I worked there. It's
Oh.
so fun.
It was super fun for me. I didn't even work there, but I was there all the time. 'Cause
Yeah.
both my parents worked there, and they'd let me fucking like throw napkins and shit around. And
Yeah, and it's
DJ
just
was there all the time.
so McDonald's was like your most fun
Yeah.
kind of my most fun minimum wage job. I was making $5 an hour.
God,
I
doing
was
what?
working at a golf course as a dishwasher. Right? Like so
$5 an hour.
it was $5 an hour. It was 2 years and I asked for a raise and they turned me down the second year, which was like, you can't give me $5.50.
I feel like if you show up to a fucking dishwashing job, they should give you everything because
Yeah.
those jobs are so hard to keep. People.
Well, here's the thing about the dishwashing job there was like the rules were if there were no dishes, you didn't have to work. So like if there were no dirty dishes back there, there was a little table in a little back room with a newspaper and a radio on it, and you could just sit there and smoke cigarettes at that table. You didn't even have to leave the building or anything, and you could just sit there and do it. So it really was like a couple years before I got the job there. Jason and a bunch of our friends were working there, and they fucked it up for everybody because they were getting high all the time at work, and she had to fire all of them. But then, as they started to hire us back, though, it was kind of like the whole job was basically hanging around in the back room, drawing Hitler mustaches on people in the newspaper and smoking. And it was just kind of like this. It was all my friends, and we were just having fun. We got to go fuck around on golf carts. We were stealing beer out of the beer cooler all the time and steaks and shit like that. So
Good old time.
that would be my best like minimum wage gig. What was yours, Brett? Do you have one?
I don't know. I guess when I worked at All Star Cafe at the mall, because we were able to trade food for like credits at other stores, and I had access to the secret tunnel behind the mall, so I was able to steal shit. Also able to sneak into like arcade after hours, so I like that one a lot. You see movies like crazy. We would just give like an usher a free meal, and then we could get movie tickets wherever
That's
we wanted.
smooth.
Yeah.
Mall's
That's
not
that.
cool.
See, that your mall's not that cool.
No.
You
You
gotta
gotta
work.
start- you
There's
gotta
no
work on
movie
trade.
Everyone
theater.
locks their doors, so I can't steal shit. And there's cameras everywhere, so I,
I
wouldn't
guess
want that.
I guess also when you're working retail and you're actually selling something, like if you're selling makeup, you can't trade. They don't do trades like
They
that.
did that at Cane's though. Like Andrianico's would trade with us all the time.
Yeah.
And also I had a friend who worked there who was super hot, and some guy at late night cookie place.
Oh,
Insomnia.
Insomnia. He would bring like vegan cookies and like cookies for everyone all the time just because he wanted underpants. It was awesome.
All right.
I
That's
gained
great.
So much weight.
Yeah. So are your coworkers, they're about the same age as you, younger people?
They
or-
range.
Yeah.
I think my best friend there is like a 43-year-old mom.
Okay, so
She's
yeah, that's a
awesome.
range.
Who they
Yeah.
voting for?
Yeah, say what's the
Oh,
temperature on
hella liberal, Bernie all the way.
the whole
Yeah.
place?
Oh no, I mean yeah, basically it's a very like LGBT friendly, like all people are welcome kind of place. Like you wouldn't want to be a Trumper working there. You wouldn't last long. We'd bully you the fuck out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like not to say it straight up, but we would. We'd be
Yeah.
bitchy, and you
Of
wouldn't
course.
work
You're Bernie Bros.
there. Yeah, Bernie Bros. Yeah, we're
That's
Bernie
what we do,
hoes.
Bernie Bros. We fucking hate people and we be mean to. I was thinking, I posted that the other day. I said, back when when Street Fight first started, when I first started really going head to head with conservatives, they would always say like, "Oh well, I guess the left isn't as tolerant as they say they are." And I was like, they've stopped saying that because they now know we're all a bunch of assholes.
Why
Yeah.
should they're never nice to us? Why should we be nice back? Is how
Yeah.
I fucking see it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not gonna.
I'm not nice. I mean, they just know we're not nice now.
I mean-
It fucking for a period there, they thought tolerance meant nice.
Stop being
Yeah.
like passive and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
no,
not
it's
me,
not the
baby.
truth. No.
I'm mean. I'm mean as a junkyard dog.
So I did go canvassing on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How did that go?
It was great. And I got to say, you probably should have went this time, because when it was down to just Biden and Sanders, it was very easy to make that argument. I didn't have to talk to any Pete Buttigieg people.
I mean,
No.
the Warren people would have been the hard ones, right?
They're still the hard
I
ones.
heard,
Yeah,
I
true.
did hear this one horror story. A guy came back. This guy, he was new and he agreed to do it by himself. And he said the first the first one was a Warren woman, and she was absolutely unhinged and said she was just unloading on him all this stuff. And he was like, and I know all my Bernie trivia, so I was giving her just honest responses. I was saying, he was like, I told her Hillary Clinton was a nice candidate. And he's like, and I don't believe that. I was telling her everything, and she was mad. And he said that her daughter came and saw the Bernie thing and was like, Bernie, woohoo, when she ran by. And then later in the conversation, the husband also said, Bernie, and put his hands up. But she was talking down to him, and she got bigoted as hell because dude's not from the United States. And she was like, you're out here peddling socialism because it didn't work where you're from. Yeah, it was real fuck. And she said, I know all of my neighbors, they're not going to vote for socialism, so you can just get out of here, and she was just
the people in her house were going to vote for socialism.
Yeah. He said it felt like a kick in the nuts, that he was just like so demoralized. But then he said the rest of the block, there was lots of Bernie supporters, but he's like, I'm not even on Twitter, but I have a bunch of people, and I heard about like these Warren stands, and he actually ran into one in real life, and I didn't have to do that. Ours was pretty good, so we talked to a lot of people were into Bernie, and I was getting really scared. There was like this truck we pulled up. There's this giant truck, and on the back it has like a Carhartt looking sticker, but it's actually a butt, and it says butt hurt. And
that's a Family Guy, right?
Yeah, and I was like, fuck, what is this gonna be? Are they gonna call us SJWs or something? We pull up, and it's this like regular ass mom in sweatpants and like a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. She looked like a mom transported from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and she was waiting for us to finish introducing herself. Like the corner of her lips were just like creeping up, and then she was like, I'm all in for Bernie. Yeah. And then she's like, I'm going to make my husband vote that way too.
But the butthurt thing is because like a lot. So I hate the word butthurt or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Too. I hate it. I'm not a fan of it. But it is a certain type of person that embraces something like that. Like that 20 years ago they would have been wearing like I'm fluent in sarcasm.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
No, they're
that's
like
the people that like butthurt.
Internet ass people.
It was a very specific time in the internet. It became a part of the lexicon, and I don't know if we can roost it out.
It's here for good.
Yeah.
It really is. It's never I get called butthurt 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Still. And probably behind my back 500 times a week. Look at this butthurt guy.
So there was some, I was judging everybody pretty hard and was getting surprised. It's also amazing because you're on edge, because we were just walking down the street, and then we start playing with this lady's dog, and then she's like, what are you out here for? And she's like, oh, one of my friends is real big into Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh yeah, so are we. We're out here because we support all this stuff. And she goes, well, I'm a lifelong, and I just like tensed up my whole body. I was just waiting for her to say like Republican. She says, I'm a lifelong Democrat. And I was like, oh, thank God. And she's like, and I'm really upset to see that Mike Bloomberg isn't in the race still.
Yeah.
I was like,
okay.
Oh God.
That's such a lifelong Democrat thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked to her about it, tried to convince her, told her friend, talked to her friend about it. We did talk to 2 conservatives, and they were hilarious because they were very scared. Like, they were so scared. The lady I was with was just talking to this woman like, well, are you doing, what are you doing? Do you have plans for the primary? Are you going to get out there and vote? And she's like, we're Republican, and just slammed the door and went away. And then the other woman, her mouth, like, the first thing Susan, the lady I was with, she says is like, hi, I'm with DSA. We're out here for Bernie. And, the woman is like, what did she say? She said, I'm not interested in sharing my political views. And then she's like, well, are you planning on voting on the 17th? Or are you going to go out to the primary? Or, is that something that's on your schedule? And she said, I want to disengage from this conversation. And then she ran inside.
She's a sovereign citizen.
Yeah,
though.
definitely.
So you got to give her... You got to be fair there. She probably thought you were the census. And like, no, I ain't fucking answering that thing. So I would like to disengage from this conversation.
So
I want to get to these calls, but the best wind up of it all was at the very end. We were supposed to go till 4. we were only like 60% done, and we were like, let's just run down this block and stuff information in all the doors. And we get to this house, and there's a guy out there, and he's washing his truck. And so it's like, well, fuck, I guess we'll just talk to him.
Yeah.
And sorry, that claw's got me burping. So sorry, gross. So we walk up, and he's like, oh yeah, I like Bernie Sanders. We're like, yes, perfect. He's talking about, he's like, I don't know if we can do it, but I want to see something else. And I think that, I want people to have healthcare. I want people to have all this. I work in healthcare. I work for the college. I want people to have all that stuff, He's going on, and he's like, now I got a question for you though. I'm like, okay. And he's like, what do you think of Joyce Beatty? And Joyce Beatty is running for the 3rd district for the House of Representatives in Columbus. And we just had Morgan Harper on the show, who was running against Joyce Beatty, who mentioned the failings of Joyce Beatty to us on the show. And this is where I wasn't prepared enough to know all of what Joyce Beatty had done. I gave a boilerplate answer of, it seems to be a lot of typical Democrat stuff that results in like them making money for developers and rich people, and nobody sees the benefit. And then my co-canvasser says something along the lines of, she's not in the communities that are in crisis. She's not available to people that are really struggling in Columbus and this and that. And he goes, well, Joyce Beatty goes to my church, and her husband was in my fraternity. So I don't know what you're talking about. And I hate to hear that Bernie Sanders supporters are out here talking about that, like Joyce Beatty. And I was like, we're not like officially for Bernie. Right. We're DSA. So, and I mean, I just apologized like crazy. But then here's the thing. Yeah, I apologize. I just said, like, I said, you know what, sir, I really do appreciate the conversation today, and I will take it. I'll take your advice, and I'm going to research and see if I can learn more about this. And I went and I wrote Joyce Beatty. The Intercept wrote an article about her 4 days ago. Her husband and her owned a bunch of property, and her husband was in part of the zoning board that was helping Lifestyles Communities set up a place to develop. They sold them their land for like a whole bunch of money. He worked for the government. It was like, where should we put this new development? It's like, oh, right on this, maybe where all my land is at. So they made a ridiculous amount of money on the deal, on some sort of insider trading. And I read that like her income, her wealth has like quadrupled from like 2 million to 10 million since she's been in office. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck that lady.
Yeah, that's
I should be. I'm glad I dogged her.
Yeah, you did.
And you're not gonna be. I mean, somebody personally. I'm not gonna convince that guy otherwise.
Well, that guy's a coward though, because I'll tell you the truth. He can hear what people think about this person, but the good thing about him being a person that goes to her church though is that maybe she's going to hear about you.
Yeah, she definitely. He's going right to her and be like, you're going to have to hear what just what went down.
Some son of a bitch with a neck tattoo showed up at my house.
A fucking beanie.
He was saying all kinds of shit about you, and then bringing up this Morgan lady, and I stuck up for you though, ma'am. Can I have $5,000?
Yeah, I do got. I mean, I think it's going to happen one more time, and you should definitely go out because the Biden versus Bernie is so easy. I was loving it because I'm so locked in, and I'm just watching at their faces talking, and I'm just ready to like grand slam this thing. One lady was like, "Well, I'm definitely want Trump out of there, and I don't know." What, in your opinion, is difference between Bernie and Biden that's a big deal? And I just looked at her and I was like, the 3 strikes law. I was like, sending all those people to jail for drug crimes and all of his justice stuff. Mm-hmm. And she like dipped her head like that is so right. And I think then at the end of it, she said the same thing. She's like, well, you know what? I think y'all convinced me. I'm all in for Bernie. I'm going to make my husband vote for Bernie too.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like you can't argue against that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need more people in fucking jail.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, he's a huge piece of shit just for that.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Biden, the Obama administration got a lot of credit for changing the scheduling or changing the mandatory minimum sentence laws on like crack cocaine. Mm-hmm. But Joe Biden set those up. He like set those up in the 1980s and then got a round of applause for repealing them in like 2012.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. So fucking dumb.
All right, you ready to jump on these calls?
Putting the headphones in now, my friendo.
Let's see who's on the air.
Friendos. All right, anybody but cis dudes, identify yourself when you answer.
Hey, how's it going? Who are we talking to?
Hello?
Howdy.
Hey.
Oh, hey, it's Blanca.
Hey.
From the Street Fight.
It's Blanca?
Yeah, from the group.
Okay.
I met her in Dallas.
Yeah, I saw you guys in Dallas. Yeah.
Sweet. How you doing tonight?
Good, good. I'm excited to get through and be first in. Yes.
First on an ABCD show.
I was like, not you, Ryan, with your cis self.
Yeah, get out of here, Ryan.
Okay.
We don't need you tonight. We're going to flush you right down the toilet, Ryan.
Yeah.
Next week's Dudes Week, though. It's going to be crazy in here.
Bro night.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to bro down. I'm going to drink beers next week while we record.
Now that's a draw.
I'm just going to be in here drinking craft brews next
High
week.
Lifes.
And I'm going to put beard oil in during the show.
Hey, don't. The beard oil is amazing, though. I love beard oil.
It's not. I don't think it
On
does
that beard,
anything.
it's so good.
You have to do
It
it.
does. It smells so good.
You gotta condition it.
I mean, I smell good. You know what I do with my beard? Just for the listeners, I wash it with shampoo, and then that's it.
Doesn't dry your face
When I
out?
get in the shower, what I do is I get a big old handful of shampoo. Okay, can't believe I'm telling you people about my shower. Yeah, a handful of shampoo, a big fucking glob of it. Okay,
That's probably too much. I mean, just always say like a
Well, no,
dime size
that's
is
not.
enough.
Yes, dime size for a normal
Like
person.
a dime.
I'm doing something else. So then I take the shampoo and I get my hair on top, and then I also do my beard and like really get in there, really massage in there. That's my beard care regimen.
That's impressive.
That's it. That's what I do with it.
Yeah.
And then I put
That's
face
very
wash on the
basic
parts
right
of my
there.
face that don't have a beard. And that's how I keep this handsome beard.
Okay.
That's all. You didn't call to talk about my beard.
Well, so almost a year to the day, I got fired from yet another job because small business tyrant. I'm a therapist and I work for a Christian counseling clinic.
Oh no.
Yeah. Very Christian people, very great people.
Doesn't Christian counseling always just come out in the end like
Pray it away.
maybe if you thought about Jesus a little bit, you wouldn't have these problems. Is what I would think
Well,
it comes
I
out
don't do
with.
Christian counseling.
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't do it. I don't do the Christian counseling though. I'm the only one that does it.
Ah, okay, I get it.
I did.
Yeah.
I had this. I had a very cheap doctor one time that was like on a sliding scale, and it was a Christian-based one, and they would always pray with you. The doctor also had long hair and a beard like Jesus, and then he would pray with you when he was done. It was nice. I thought it was good.
You walk with Jesus.
Clear the air.
Counseling. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I found a way to get out of my contract so I could leave because I just feel like I'm not gonna grow here, I'm not gonna learn anything, and I feel like they're shady. Like they're doing like things that I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be filing claims that way, or I'm pretty sure you're not, and like you're underpaying me, and like the office is just like a desk and 2 office chairs. And I was like, this is not okay. This is not normal. Like,
Wait, 2 people sharing one desk?
Yeah, like instead of like you go in and you have like a couch and some chairs, it was like an office like desk and then like 2 like office chairs.
Very relaxing, very trusting
And
environment,
I
I'm
was
sure.
like, wow, I hate that. And like that was their like one office. Yeah, it sucked.
So it's wait. I gotta ask. Therapist's office where you're sitting across from somebody in office chairs? Is that?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So me
Yeah.
and Brett could have a therapist's office in here. Me and Brett do therapy every single week when we sit in our office chairs across the table from each other and yell.
It would be funny if like we did street fight therapy and Brian was in charge of decorating. It would be like a card table with just 2 fold-up chairs facing each other. Like, we can get to know each other in this place, right?
You know what I would do, actually, if you want to know what my therapist's office would be? It would be a bar. Doesn't have to have the liquor, of course.
Well, then
Some drinks. Not,
Yeah.
you're
serving
going to have your
station.
kombuchas. You're going to have your beers.
All the drinks.
Nothing,
Too heavy.
no vodka.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
And like it'll be sitting with 2 big stools, and you will face each other, and you will put your arms on the bar, and that's how you'll have your little conversation.
Got it.
That's what I think would be my therapy office.
Or maybe like a brick wall where you could both put your back on it and put one leg up and just kind of stay next to each other with your thumbs in your pockets and kind of shoot the shit.
Blasting cigs.
Let me ask you this: is it a closed off office? Like, do you have privacy, or is it like out in the open, like a fucking cubicle?
No, it's like a closed office space.
Okay.
And I would just screenshot like messages from patients complaining about it and then send it to the owner until
Yeah.
after 3 months ago they finally like made up that like fixed that office. But they had some different locations, and the other location was really nice, like couch, everything looked real good.
Mhm.
But like they just didn't fix this until I complained enough.
Mm.
But I would get no like management support, especially regarding patients. Like, hey, I have 4 suicidal patients in like a week. I'm gonna need you to call me back
Yeah.
and give me a little guidance here. Kind of important stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get the fuck out of this place because I can't deal with this. Like, I need to just move on.
Mhm.
So I gave him the sob story about like I need to find a place with benefits and that can has better hours.
That's not
and
even a
that
sob
way
story.
he
That's
gets
like
it.
what you deserve.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like not gonna tell him like, hey, you suck. Like,
No, you were doing him a favor. I mean
Yeah.
that's I mean they probably a lot of those places I worked at were where I remember there was a place I had a job and they're like, hey, remember that guy Jack? He was here for like 9 weeks and then like whatever happened to him? And there's like a million. You realize you're in the Jack position and that you just get
Oh, God.
changed out every 9
Oh
months
yeah, I've had that moment.
Or-
I'm like, oh,
right before you're like, all right, this isn't going to end very well, I
oh,
guess.
it's harrowing.
yeah.
So,
no, I
yeah.
just know I'm not gonna end well.
Mhm.
Needed to get out. Got out of my non-compete. Can't have my own practice. Can't take patients with me.
Mhm.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. Tell patients, hey, I'm leaving at the end of March. Like, you can stay with another therapist here, or you can they'll give you another referral. They're like, well, why can't we go with you? Are you still gonna be around? I'm like, well, yeah, but like, they're like, well, why can't we go with you though? And I'm like, well, I can't tell you. They're like, well, where are you going? And I'm like, I can't tell you. They're like, well, we can look you up and find you, right? I was like, you could, but I still can't tell you.
Yeah.
So they've been calling the boss very upset.
Wow.
Like, we don't want to leave. Like, why can't we go with her? Like, you can't tell us like who to see, and like, so March 30th is my last day. They moved it up to March 14th. After I told them, hey,
Fuck.
I'm not gonna stay part time.
That should
And
be
they're like,
illegal because you're
okay,
banking on that
March
money.
14th. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
on contract worker.
Right.
And
yeah.
then more patients called
Mhm.
them, and she called me last week and was like, over the phone, like, can you meet me right now? I'm like, no, I'm already on my way home. I won't be available till 10. And she's like, well, can you meet me at 10 o'clock? I was like, no, I'm not going to meet you at 10 o'clock in an empty building. Like,
Mhm.
what's going on? Is everything okay? Well, today's going to be your last day working with us. And I was like, what? Why? And she said that, well, we've had several calls from patients feeling pressure to leave, to go with you. I'm like, I'm not telling patients to go with me. They're upset that they can't go with me. And they've told me about these conversations with you. And she's like, well, maybe they're misunderstanding what you're telling them, but either way, today's your last day.
What a shitty
God
way
damn.
to find out.
I think it's
Over the phone.
and it was
shitty.
also they're freaked, right? That like they're freaked that you're gonna leave, that you're gonna go through like 2 more weeks at this place and be telling people I am leaving, but I can't tell you where I'm going. Which is non-competes are fucking nuts. That is like
Biggest
pro wrestling ass shit.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, which we're watching right now, by the way.
Yeah, but it is pro wrestling
Yeah.
ass shit because like in pro wrestling, like you can't negotiate with the other company while you're under contract with the company, and I think it should be illegal in that business too. You know what I mean? I think non-competes need to be illegal.
They do. They need to be.
Let's get Bernie
It's
Sanders.
ridiculous.
Me and Brett
Yes.
are gonna push this to Bernie Sanders because we found out Jimmy John's had non-competes too, and
What?
I just
Are their employees making sandwiches?
for real. And then I just talked to somebody recently in a chat, and they said, "Hey, anybody in the chat know about non-competes?" And I said, "Yeah, it means that if you," I just gave the generic explanation to be a jerk, but I didn't really have any information for him. But I was like, damn, this dude's dealing with a non-compete too. This non-compete shit's got to stop. You know?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
What
And
amount
they
of
say,
money?
Like, oh,
How about if you make $1 million a year, you're allowed to have a non-compete? How about that?
Why?
no,
Because-
that's not gonna be me. So
Because
Don't just get rid of them.
I want to get rid of
like
them.
intellectual property.
You don't want me to means test, right?
Yeah, I don't want it. Yeah, we don't need them.
Well, it's just
You're
like
gonna
if
have to
there's a
deal with it.
reason to have them. I'm trying to think if there's a reason to have them that benefits us. I guess
people-
no, not really,
People
right?
take shit from other jobs and bring it over to another place. I guess I
Well,
don't. That's what they always
places are leaving
say.
Anyway, they're not staying, so they're gonna lose business anyway.
Yeah.
Which means it's personal that they rather refer out to someone than let people go see me. And I'm like, this is people's mental health. Like, you can't be doing this to people's mental health. It just shows that you care more about your personal feelings of me leaving than like the actual patient's like emotional well-being. And that's what like upset me, because then I have people calling me crying like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, the one time I had one time at a job where like I quit, and they were like, Brett, the owner was like, Brett, I want to talk to you. He's like, why are you quitting? And I was like, well, I have this other job lined up. I'm going to do all this and that. And he was like, can I offer you some money to get you to stay here? Which is where I feel like the non-compete is a way to punish you, instead of just being like, wow, this person is a great asset to the company. We should give them the benefits and the hours and the wages that they fucking asked for. You know, like it's worth money. If you're looking at... If you're panicking about losing a couple dozen clients right now, like the thing to do would be maintain the good employee that was bringing that money into you.
Yup.
Well, not just that, but you guys, there's only 8 therapists in the whole group. I was bringing in 20% of the clients just by myself.
And they lost all of them?
20%.
Did they lose
And
all
they lost
of them?
at least half of them. They lost at least half of my clients.
That's just stupid.
And
Are you allowed to work? How long until you're allowed to get up and running again?
so I can work because I gave them that sob story and got out of the non-compete. I just can't have my own practice. Now, the thing is...
When can you have your own
they
practice?
Found out, yeah, my own, like, office. Like,
I mean,
therapy
is there a period where you'll be able to do that, though?
in a year.
Ugh.
That's
But
so unfair.
I found a way out of that. I found a place that essentially gives you clients, you get on their insurance panels, but you have to get your own office and like you run your own office. And they pay you like almost they're going to pay me almost twice as much as what this lady was paying. She looked them up and found out like on our like licensing board thing, she found out where I was looking at. And found out how much I'm going to make there. So she came and attacked me in a meeting. Was like, well, how are they paying you this much? That's not even possible because you only get paid this much per contract per, insurance. So they're going to lose money off of you. They're like, if it's about money, Blanca, we can pay you that much.
Of course
And
it's about
I'm like,
money.
okay.
I mean, it's your job.
So, I mean, we're looking at a $30 an hour increase in pay.
Yeah.
And then she's like, if it's that, well, we can pay you that other amount. But then 5 minutes later, she's like, oh, well, your raise is coming up in a few months. I can give you $5 more.
Yeah,
That's not
$30.
Yeah.
That's not $30
Well, I mean, it seems like
no.
also, it sort of seems like also if you do this other opportunity that, like, getting your own place and your own thing and running your own thing seems like, I mean, to me, in my life, I've worked for a lot of people and done a lot of stuff and really never been happier than when I started owning my own thing, like.
Exactly, and that's what I want.
Yeah. No bosses. It sucks.
Well, the other thing is that they were trying so hard to discourage me from doing this. They're like, it costs $1,000 to $2,000 to rent an office in this area, and it's so expensive. You could stay under Mama's wings. That's what she said to me.
Oh,
Yikes.
fucking Christ.
Yeah,
And
fuck
the
her.
thing about this also, can I say the other thing? Is you don't need the same size office that those people need.
Definitely.
They're running a fucking 8-person. They're running an
Which it's only one
8-person
office,
thing.
anyway.
Yeah, you can rent a smaller space in a fucking building. You don't have to rent a whole big, huge fucking thing. I think this.
I don't.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think it's
Yeah.
crazy to go to an employee, to like walk up to an employee and say you should stay under Mama's wing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I
It's
would
like-
want to get.
You
Like
think
a
that's
psych-
inappropriate? Oh, man.
More psychotic version of we're all a family here.
No, it's scarier than that. I've never
that's
heard.
what she would say too. We're
Yeah.
family. We're family.
Ugh.
I'm not saying it. We're family.
No,
I was
no, I just
friends-
work here.
I was friends
but,
with my.
Brian, you're right.
Go ahead.
He wants to hear why.
I found a 94 square foot office for like under $400.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Nice building, down the street, and I'm like, I could do this. And she's like, oh, $1,000. I'm over here with the signed lease already while she's telling me it's $1,000 to $2,000, and I'm sitting here, you lying ass bitch. Like, and then her son, because it's a family owned business.
Oh no, you got out.
Asked me, Blanca, can I ask you a question? I'm like, what? And she's like, he's like, well, does your husband not want you working here? Like, does he have a problem with you working for us? And they're African American, and they are very about like having like minority business and like all this. And I'm like, cool, I get it, brown woman here, support it. But they found out another coworker was working for a white lady, and they're like, well, this is a black-owned business, and you're leaving this black-owned business to work for another white lady. And I was like, okay. So there's some, like, racial stuff there. And when they asked me that if my husband's okay with me working here, I was like, no. I'm like, yes, my husband supports whatever I decide.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm happy, he doesn't care what I do.
What a patronizing ass question too. Like in the year 2020, assuming 2019 maybe, like anyway.
You did the right thing. I gotta tell you, this is one of those stories that's like, it's harrowing, right? Like let's talk about this like it were a quest, right?
Quest. Back to Quest.
Back to Quest.
I love Skyrim,
At the beginning,
so.
you're at the bottom of the mountain, and you're like, fuck it, I'll take this fucking office with 2 rolly chairs in it, and I'll do what I can do
I know.
with these people, and I'll do it. And then you started to climb this mountain, and then you're like, what a bunch of fucking weirdos I work with. Look,
Yeah.
I fixed it. I've gotten another job. And then you start making your way down the mountain, and then you hit like a little bit of a shaky area where they said creepy things to you, like leaving Mama's wing, and does your husband know you're quitting your job? And then you got out. You've won.
Yeah, you made it out.
You
Yeah.
won.
You escaped
I did.
the trap.
You did.
So,
This
like,
is the
oh, man.
happiest
And, like-
story we've had. This is one of our happiest stories because, like,
Well, you know
really-
what though? I'm very lucky. I have 2 other jobs. So me losing one job, where I literally the next day, my other boss was like, "Hey, can you come work today?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So, more money like that. And I work
Alright.
online. Like I increase my clients online. I work at a geriatric psych clinic. Like I've already made my income, and like I have to work twice as many hours, but at least it's consistent until next month, and I get my own office, and I'm like, this is it. I'm on my own. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do. Like I'm gonna be my own boss essentially, and fuck them.
Now,
That's
can
great.
you
Yeah,
move to
that's
Columbus, Ohio, and be my therapist so I don't have to wait anymore?
Also, same. Yeah. You sound great.
But
To be
thanks.
And
fair,
the
I
worst
mean,
part is I got fired.
yeah, I mean, but it sounds like, to be fair, the most bullshit reason I could ever think. I mean, it sounds like they had a personal vendetta. They don't care about their own money because they're stopping their own bag by firing you early. It's just like, it's all just bad. Yeah. Congrats on getting out of there, and I'm sure you're going to do awesome on your own.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to leave it open-ended where, like, you got over on them or they felt like you cheated them. It's better sometimes just for those people to think, like, oh, we got her, we fired her ass and sent her out the door. And it's like, great, never think of me again, please.
Yeah.
I have been that way too.
Don't
where
find me on Facebook.
Don't look me up.
There's been a lot of things like that too. It seemed
I
like
had
when
to email her to get me my paycheck.
Oh, that's the worst. That makes
I
my
was like,
skin
hey, I
crawl.
haven't gotten my last paycheck, and she sent it to the wrong apartment.
did you get like? Do you get? Because here's what happens with me when I got to do something like that. They don't. They don't
yeah.
come out, but those little nervous tears.
Oh, yeah.
That sort of start to well up right here when you have to write something uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Where you're like, all right, I haven't got my last paycheck. It's been 2 weeks. This person hates me.
Oh, yeah.
The
I
last
know.
job I quit before I made.
Exactly it.
There's these little tears that you don't cry. It's just you can feel them happening because you know it's going to be stressful to type.
I can feel like when I have to
Yeah.
do that, like they make the phone call and like my back hair just stands up. It feels like it's a porcupine.
Your whole ass is clenched.
Well, yeah,
You
that's
just
when
can't.
you call and then it rings and you pick up and you're just like wincing in fear and you're just like, Mark?
Oh,
And you're like,
yeah. I had to do that
yeah?
exact thing.
Is this Brett?
I told Keynes to fuck off right before tax season. Didn't change my address in Paylocity. Had to call them. Yeah, he was like, and they'd call our DA, and I called, and the GM happened to pick up, who I told to fuck off in the email when I quit. And he was like, hey, Rachel, call HR. And he just like hung up. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
You don't
yeah,
like
Keynes,
you.
Keynes don't give a fuck about professionalism.
You're kicked out of the call.
Yep.
You're out, man.
Yeah,
No, I
well.
always liked it when it was I was like small business tyrants where you do have to deal with like the HR person and they're just like, how are things going? You're like, I'm doing fine, just trying to get this paperwork and
Yep.
get out of here off this phone. I hate this phone right now. I'm gonna hang myself with the cord.
I do.
Well,
I
the office manager is the owner, so
Yes.
it's literally them.
Yeah, I had to do
And then
that too.
The director's the daughter. Yeah, it was awkward, and it gave me all those weird stomach tingles where I'm like, fuck, now I have
Yes.
to email her like, hey, I haven't gotten my paycheck. Hope, let me know if I can expect that in the mail soon.
hope the business hasn't
and
gone
it was
under. Hope you still have the money, I guess. I
Yeah.
always, you know what I always put when I request my paycheck or something from an old job? I go, oh, I hate to ask this, but I really don't. I do hate to ask it because I want the fucking money, and I feel like
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to ask. But like the best thing about when I quit Lexi's, the diner place,
Oh,
right? When I quit there, the best thing ever was that he wrote my check and mailed it to me the day before you're usually supposed to get paid so that he did not have to
Yeah.
see me anymore. And I was like, this is a guy
He gets
that
it.
is an enormous asshole and knows it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Thanks for calling, Blanco. It was very fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. And hopefully this doesn't happen next year.
Yeah, congratulations, though. It looks like it's running great.
Yeah. I feel like you got
That's
it
all,
on
too.
lock.
Got it.
So,
God damn, that's funny.
I thought of another great therapist office. Somebody said, I mean, a bar. You just basically said a bar.
It's
which
not
is
a bar.
Bar is therapy. You go and talk
We've all
about all the
watched
bad
Cheers.
stuff in your
No, no, no,
life.
No?
This isn't a bar.
Okay.
Like, we're not talking about a bar, traditional bar.
Just
But like a literal
a,
bar.
like
a high table.
but a high table
High top.
that has some drinks behind it. Not
Okay. Non-alcoholic
all
drinks.
alcohol. No, you're gonna have your kombucha.
So like a diner bar.
You'll have some craft beer.
Okay.
You'll have some lemonade, maybe some carrot juice,
Any
maybe a
snacks?
smoothie machine. Like just kind of stuff that people like.
And then you belly up to it. Turn to the side.
You turn to the side in a stool with a back. You want a back on them stools. And then you just sit in a stool and you kind of lean on the bar, and then the other person leans with you, and you just kind of sit there and
I got
hash it out. You know?
a better one, I think.
Okay.
Two lazy boys right next to
No.
each other, and you both just lay back and just like talk to the ceiling, like, you know, like you can
No.
kind of get away, but you're right there. You can reach over and like fist bump them or something.
Nope. Don't like it. Here's the thing I don't like about that. I feel like a little baby child man when I lay in a lazy boy.
That helps. That helps. You have to do that to get rid of the issues. We're all baby
Will.
child men. Everybody's baby child.
I feel like a
on the
little
inside.
boy when I sit in one of those things and I won't be able to talk. All I'll think about is like, this is ridiculous what I look like right now.
Getting-
And also, anytime your legs are all kind of laid out in front of you,
But
you know what I'm talking about? When you're sitting kind of like this and your legs are all out in front of you and they
Like
don't
when
even
you're
look
still on
like
the floor.
part of your body and you're just looking at them, you're like, what fucking worthless appendages. Like, I'll look at them and think they're worthless looking, you know? I don't know. I have low fucking body image issues,
Yeah.
obviously.
Okay.
But sometimes I look at my legs and I'm like, they could be better.
But they walk you all those steps.
They do. They do.
Yeah, you should be proud of your
Yeah.
legs.
They're just not, you would think my legs would be much stronger than they are, you know?
What are you coming up against that you're failing? What tests of strength that your legs are failing on you?
None. I'm saying that I should be able to do like really big tests of strength. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta
I
do
should-
those.
endurance.
I should be able to do like crazy, like leg rips or like I could
Leg rips.
What's
What
a
is-
leg rip? I've been going to the gym. I haven't
Leg-
heard of that one.
See, now that was just me guessing at an exercise name.
Let's say leg press. That's a leg rip.
Yeah, let's do some
Leg
leg
rip?
presses.
Leg presses. A leg rip. Watch this. Rip, rip, rip. Look at that shit. They're bulging right out of the sides of my pants.
I don't know what I thought leg rips were.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I
you gotta-
just think that like I would like them to look. They don't look impressive. I'm going to show
Don't-
you guys my legs
Okay.
real
They're-
quick. I'm gonna put them right up on the table. You can see it in the camera too.
Aren't they covered in nondescript men's fabric?
Please, they're called cargo pants.
Okay.
That's all I wear. Here
They-
it comes. I'm coming up. Okay. That fried me.
What is
Okay.
it? Oh, you want a big calf or something?
Yeah, I want something like a little.
You got a lot of calf.
I want some vascularity
Okay.
in there.
You have to try to get that stuff. You can't just wish that it was there. You have to like go to the gym and do that. That's how people get that.
It looks firm though. I mean,
The
it
path
looks-
is there. It's certainly not a dream. Just gotta do it.
I think what you're
Pick up.
thinking.
You gotta lift up heavy shit, dude.
You want hypertrophy. You have endurance. You want to see muscles,
Yeah, that's like all I want.
but you have muscles. You have muscle.
Everybody has muscle.
Yeah,
you guys want to see
I
my
mean-
bicep real quick and
No.
see? Okay.
Flex it all. Just flex it all on the
Flex
ABCD.
them. It doesn't look as good. It just that's what I look at when I see my body. I think like everything could be
This is
stronger.
this is a great conversation to have with your therapist while you're being sucked up in a lazy boy.
Yeah,
This
it's true.
the
Would
kind of
never.
gets
I would
this
turn around and walk
conversation.
out if it was a
Because that's the
lazy-
easiest problem in the world to solve.
It's not.
You just do exercises to get the results that you want.
Can you do steroids?
You can.
Yeah, of
do
course you can do
It's-
steroids.
Yeah.
Like instead of the
I was
exercises?
literally
you have to
thinking
do
about
them-
that today. How
So
people can just
You
do
still
that
gotta
shit
do
if they
the
want.
exercises though.
You still have to do the exercises, but
Ugh.
you won't have to work as long.
yes, it's a quick fix to get you there. But it's not
Oh.
gonna like make you stronger than you ever could be. It's
No.
just gonna get you there a lot faster.
It'll make you really angry too, is what I hear.
Yeah.
Well, that would fucking do good for the show. You know?
Really?
People
Okay.
love the rant.
All right.
Just fucking screaming about like egg whites and stuff.
Yep.
That's what those people, all those people talk about is grilled chicken and egg whites.
Protein shake tastes like dirt.
All
'Cause
right.
it does.
Next caller. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, it's Kiara the Dominatrix again.
Howdy.
Hey, I got some fucking shit to say today, guys.
Oh, well, we're here for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So a little bit of background. I'll try to keep it brief. You guys know I'm pro dom. A lot of what I do is online. There's a girl who blew up online during the Australia fires for offering free nudes to anyone who donated to the Australia fires.
Right.
Oh yeah, know who you're talking about.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yep.
And like her family disowned her and everything and all that.
That's what she
now
says.
she's like, yeah. So now she's number one on a pretty big sex worker / content seller platform and has like 450,000 followers on Twitter. She's trying to now use, because her moment in the spotlight is gone, I feel this is what's going on. She's trying to use that success to like basically make money off girls who've never done this. She posted a video that she's accepting applications for basically her being your pimp, unless there's another word for capitalist who controls the means of production when the means of production is your sex work.
Yeah, I know
She's
exactly
like,
what you're talking about.
Oh, you heard this?
Yeah, I watched the video and I know exactly what you're talking about. Keep going.
Yeah. So she's like bribing them with, oh, you get to live here for free, and there's gonna be a reality TV show, and
Okay,
all
so
this
so
stuff,
she
Can
and
I say this? Is this a clout house situation? Okay. I
Like
understand.
a sex
clout
worker
house.
clout house,
Yes.
kinda. Yeah.
But she's saying that she's going to use the immense amount of followers and the amount of people that are subscribing to her content to bring other women in to be a part of her videos. Is that what it is? Something like
she
that?
wants to. This is the thing that pisses me off right here, is she made the stipulation that any person that applies has to be female, and she doesn't say if trans girls count. She doesn't say if NBs count. They have to have little to no experience with sex work, and they have to have no. Yeah, she has to have no accounts on the platform that she uses, which means that everyone that she gets into this house is going to have to use her referral link to sign up, so she gets a kickback every time they make a sale. So basically she's just going, oh, well, I'll train you, but not if you actually want to be in this. And, you know, my family disowned me for doing this, but you should totally do it. And no, I definitely have the qualifications to train people, and 15 to 20 girls living in a house for free. What could go wrong? Don't you just love it when your boss controls where you work and live?
I mean, this was literally, I think this is actually a CSI episode. Like, they were talking about, like, it was girls living in a house like that. They were all sex workers and they had a pimp. It wasn't also a sex worker, but it's like the exact same scenario. And I'm right there with you. It's like, it's horrifying.
It's
and then she posted like 3 or 4 follow-up videos where she had clearly been crying, and she has this other unnamed person sitting next to her just looking bored and angry, being like, well, you know, I wouldn't be a pimp because I'm a sex worker too, and I'm a woman, and I would be empowering other women, and basically man pimp bad, woman pimp good.
Yeah. No, it's... Ugh.
Yeah, and so her understanding was that she was going to be helping out these women, like getting that. I don't see, like, when it comes to like YouTube and the other social media, like when their big brand names like get together and do crossovers, that's a big thing. To literally bring folks in and say that like, I own you and you have to be a rookie. I really don't know how you could consider that anything else besides taking advantage of somebody.
Right. And that's what, you know, a lot of the comments were saying is like, you're just taking advantage of these girls for your own benefit, and you just want another moment of fame with your supposed reality TV show.
That's very
what is
weird.
her name? Do we have the name?
It's her name, if you want to check it out, is The Naked Philanthropist. Actually, I don't know if that's her exact at, but that's her name on Twitter.
Okay.
But don't follow her.
Her at is, yeah. Her at is LIL Earth Angel K.
I'm looking at her. up. I don't know why I am right now. Lil
she's cute,
Earth
but
Angel
she's
K
also, like-
racist.
I mean, a clown house situation.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is she's only taking, skinny cis girls in her application. She's not taking any, curvy girls or BBW girls or women of color.
Yeah.
She's just like, no, cis het white women, be cute, be small, and I'll make you famous somehow.
Yeah, like Victoria's Secret standards, basically. Like Girl Next Door, but
Yeah,
not
the
at
same
all.
exact stuff that, I mean, it was like Playboy or whatever.
Yeah.
All the stuff from back then. It's like, oh, so you're basically just, hey, it's all back to what it was in the 90s. Let's homogenize this more.
It is in a way, though, with the popularity of OnlyFans and the ability for people to do that kind of work and own their own business in a way, in the same way that like media got democratized with Street Fight Radio and podcasting. This is a step into a new realm of entertainment, that in that arena that is just really borrowing from the shitty ideas of the past, But it's like, this is the digital small format version of,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it is like if me and you decided, okay, now it's like, say me and you started making whatever, $50,000, $60,000 a month. And then we made the decision, no, we're just going to buy the Trillbillies and we're going to buy the Sams and tell them to do stuff that we want them to do.
Yeah, or the only place you can get their content is through us.
Yeah.
But not even established people. This is taking advantage of people that have no experience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a creepy grooming aspect to it.
It's actually, it's kind of like, so you're looking to get a leg up in this industry that you maybe want to work in but don't know how to figure out how to do it. How about I get you? Which always ends up bad. It never ends up good when your way into the industry is through some sort of reality competition, or like, it doesn't sound like a good deal. I really would be nervous about that, actually, because like, in the end, I mean, like the Lou Pearlman. Remember that guy? The Backstreet Boys NSYNC guy, right? Remember that old, weird, creepy guy? And he would just, create band after band after band. And then he would, I mean, a lot of them ended up okay in the end. But, like, he ripped them the fuck off for years after they hit. And they all had to, every time, the people that he helped, they'd have to sue him and then get out of it and shit like that. And this is probably just one of those things where it's like, I'm going to bring you in. You're going to be on this thing. You're going to be semi-famous. And then for the next 5 years, you just kick me back a little bit of your money for the work that you're doing. And I own the rights to it all. And it's like, that doesn't seem fair at all. That seems like old show business, and at least my goal in what I do is to go as far away from old show business as possible, and I assume, that would be anybody's goal, to go away from the old version of their business and do it this new way, right?
I mean, that's my goal. I think it rubs me the wrong way so much because, like, when I first started out years ago, oh, God, it's been like 14 years at this point, I had somebody try to be like, oh, I know all about marketing and I'll take you under my wing, throwback, and, like,
Gross. That's
just
gross.
do
Stop.
all this extra... Yeah, just do all this extra stuff and I'll never pay you. And, you can show me the proof that you logged in and that you did $1,000 worth of work, but you're never going to see that money. So, like, and I also worry about, like, what if they're doing stuff that the girls aren't okay with, but, well, this is what we're filming today. You have to, take a strap on or whatever from Kiara. Like, I wouldn't be okay with that. And if one of the girls isn't okay with that, but their boss, who also owns the place they live, who may or may not be there providing the food and stuff for them, like, are you really going to feel okay saying no to that?
Yeah, no, it's straight up abuse. Like it's just like you're in a position of power and you know what you're doing, but they just don't give a shit.
Well, it benefits you. You're kind of like, I mean, you've considered in your head like, oh, I mean, everybody wins here, like I'm the mentor and this person's going to get a great career out of this. They're going to be grateful about it. It's like,
but
no.
there isn't like, I don't think for the person that's doing this, not for the main person, right? The top person. I just don't feel like their main goal is mentorship and stuff like that.
No.
And I think when you then get in this situation where you're like, I'm here to mentor you, I'm going to be your mentor. And then your main goal isn't mentorship, then I think you can get stuck in a lot of sticky situations. It's exactly what she said. I've talked a lot about dangerous stunts in pro wrestling. In WWE, there's been a lot of these times where they've done these crazy stunts. These things where they're jumping off of 40-foot cages and shit like that. And a lot of times guys have said, like, I don't feel safe doing this. Like, I don't think I should do this. And then they're like, well, but the boss's son does it, so I think you should be able to do it. And then they make them do it, and they make them do things that make them uncomfortable, and culminating basically in Owen Hart said he was uncomfortable with the stunt that they asked him to do, and then he ended up dying. So, like, there's a lot of times where somebody will say, you work for me, I'm going to make you famous, I'm going to make you really big, you just have to follow my advice. And their advice is, like, almost always exploitative and a lot of times dangerous,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mentor some girls, just like, a couple of my friends or people who approach me online because I've been doing this for so long, but my goal is to help them succeed. And I feel like, I'm on this platform too, and I just started a month ago. So I have about 10 subscribers, and I'm already in the top 65% of earners there.
Nice.
So, like, my
wow.
feeling is no, that's not good. Like 10 subscribers.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
nothing.
maybe $3.50 per subscriber, and I'm already in the top 65%. My thought is this girl's like, oh, I'm not making enough money with my fame. I got to drain it from other people.
True.
Yeah.
True, yeah. I mean, 10 subscribers and being in the top 65 seems good to me.
That means there's not very many people on the platform.
Yes, that's the thing. What is the
It means
platform
like
again?
everybody.
Is it OnlyFans?
64% of the people
It is OnlyFans.
have less than 10.
Sorry, yeah. Well, that's what I figured OnlyFans was. I mean, that kind of stuff is so hard to get into. I mean, I don't even know how to work OnlyFans. Like, I've never even seen it.
It's just like
before.
Twitter, but you got to pay for it.
Ooh, well, I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna start
You
an
gonna start one?
OnlyFans. I'll start like a nice little OnlyFans.
Show off your calves.
I will.
Not until he starts
Maybe
lifting.
OnlyFans, I'll show off my
Right there.
calf and my feet. I'll be like, hey.
Okay, but you have to use my referral link because I brought it up.
Okay. Maybe I'll start one and show my feet because I have been told I have $40 feet. It's like, you really want to see the feet? $40, baby. And just look at them all day and all night. I'll even trim my toenails, which I do about once every 2 months.
I didn't realize. I thought OnlyFans had a higher subscriber amount than that.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. I think it's a pretty small thing. Like, OnlyFans is just now being picked up in, like, the lexicon. And really, when I say the lexicon, I mean on Twitter. Like, I don't even think everybody on Twitter knows it yet. It's just starting to become a thing that people talk about on there. So from there, it's probably going to go to the wider world. It's going to take a long time, though. People be talking about OnlyFans in, like, a year and a half.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can't imagine there's
Once
that many
Twitter
people
shuts
on there.
down the sex workers.
Yeah, do you think that's a possibility? Because I've wondered that.
Oh yeah.
Have they suspended
I had
them
an
before?
account. Yeah, no, I had an account about a year and a half ago that was like something like 19,000 followers to it, and they just shut it down.
Ugh.
So like they shut people down for uncensored nudity. They shut people down for too many hashtags. There's like this sort of secret world of sex workers who unite and go, oh, this is what they're shutting us down for this week. Don't use these tags. Don't at this many people, because if you at more than 3 people, you'll be seen as spam and they'll shadow ban you or they'll just ice your account.
Wow.
I never even heard of. I can't even imagine that too many hashtags. I thought they wanted us to use those.
Yeah, but if you use the hashtag for FinDom, they go, well, that's not PC, and nobody wants to hear that, and you're making money off of us, so you can't use that.
FinDoming seems like the most fine thing in the world to me. That's what I think. I really do.
Right?
I don't even know. Like, it's not even sex. You know what I mean? It's like if we're just not even allowed to trade money anymore. You're like not allowed to do that. It's against the law if a guy gives a woman money or something to that effect. Is what that feels like to me. You know?
It absolutely is. I mean, they're bringing morality.
Somebody brought up in chat that there's so many Nazis on Twitter that they're not, censoring, but they're censoring all the sex workers, and that's also a big problem.
Yeah, that is, they don't mind the Nazis.
They want to control that behavior. They just think that Nazi is another, like, ideology to have. They consider it's, like, in the marketplace of ideas. But when it comes down to, like, controlling women's sexuality, like, they are using all the tools at their disposal.
Yeah, like, I can't say, or, I could say, any sort of Nazi propaganda I want, but I can't say, I hope this guy who wants to choke on my heel chokes on my heel. I got that tweet I got suspended for a week for.
Really?
And Twitter's supposed to be such a big platform for that, right?
No.
Not anymore.
Twitter doesn't let anybody do anything that they use. Like, there was a Wild West days of Twitter. We call that the Burberry Wars. And that was when we were fighting with people and having a really, truly good time. So much so that maybe someone would jump in a plane and go to a guy's job and try to get him fired for posts.
Yeah.
But that's all over now, man. It's all over. Twitter took all the things that brought me to Twitter. They've taken it all away. You can't have a good war anymore because they suspend you. They're all timeout 5 days. And it's like, well, we were just getting started. We love this shit.
Yeah.
You get suspended for saying anything. Like, you can get suspended for just saying any cuss. Like, so. Stupid.
That's why I don't do it anymore. Well, I did call a guy fucking moron the other day, but I didn't get suspended for it, so.
Every time I say something kind of, not abusive, but if I say anything that's a little cutting, I'm worried that I'm going to get suspended because I've been suspended before.
Yeah.
So.
I've yet to get suspended because they know how important I am to the platform.
Yeah, so. You got that on your side.
Thanks for calling in. We really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to
where can we find your content?
Oh, I'm at HypnoFemdom or MistressKiara'sDungeon.com.
Nice.
Thanks for calling.
Go give her money. Jeez. Listeners.
Thanks for talking to me again.
Thank you for coming on.
Peace.
That is always like that's the #1 fun call of the ABCD shows every time to me, because it's just like you just can't. It's just a world I don't ever think I'll ever know about.
Sure,
you know what I mean.
It's super interesting. Like was it like a whole show you had interviewing like a femdom?
No, she called in last time though.
Oh, okay,
she calls in usually when we do ABCD shows. She usually gives us a call and we kind of talk about it, and it's. I always get real weird during it because I don't know how to talk about that kind of stuff. But I do find it interesting. I mean, I think it's a guy. I think guys are fucking wild. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's super fascinating because I'm naturally inclined to be mean to men. So I think it's super amazing that women are able, or anyone's able to like profit off of that and make it work for their life.
Do you think that there are do you think there are women that get fin-dommed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are women who...
probably just the smallest amount, I would guess.
There's definitely, women in the scene that, want to be... Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just can't...
Smaller, population, but yeah.
But that, again, is one of those things. That's how you get your brain screwed up when you're a dude in America, is where you think that women hate sex. You know what I mean? You just... From... very young.
Yeah, and you think all porno should be free. That's the other that's the other problem, is that we think that nobody should get paid for, doing a fucking gangbang.
That's the thing about fucking Pornhub. Like, everyone gives them so much credit for doing like these PR stunts, and they're still like not age, like they're not age checking people.
Yeah.
Like, people are still like making money off of other people's content. Like, it's just, they're not this great company that people keep making them out to be.
Yeah, it's not the solution for sure. Let's see who our next caller is. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hi, this is an old caller who hasn't called for a while. It's Elizabeth from Chicago.
Ah! I was talking about
Wow.
you today. Holy shit.
Yeah. How's it going?
I am so happy to hear from you. I have been thinking about you for so fucking long. How are you doing, Elizabeth?
Surprisingly, really fucking well. So I'm going to keep the train going with actually tying the last two calls together. Street Fighter's taking a step up in the world, and then sex work. So the step up I'm taking is being on my knees sucking dick for money to being on my knees scrubbing toilets for money. And I'm fucking excited, man. Sex work sucks.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that from a lot of people. Like, I have heard it from people who have done it. Like, I know there are people that really like it, but I've heard from other people who are like, it's you know, I don't like doing this. But
yeah, I mean, I pretty much only did it. I started doing it after I dropped out of school, and you know, just like to sustain myself while I was looking for other work. And when I found that other work, I stopped doing it. But then when that work ended, you know, so it's like definitely like it's weird because in so many ways I fucking hate it, and I don't find it empowering. Also, hey, if you're a John, please get hit by a truck. But only after you give me my drugs or money. But like, I don't know, it's this weird sort of mix, especially doing the work that I do, which is like so fucking low level. Like I'm like literally I'll get like $20 for a blowjob. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking whack shit, you know?
Yeah.
And so like even though it is super demoralizing most of the time and just exhausting, like at least that $20 is my $20, you know?
Yeah.
Like the first time I like sucked dick for money and I got that money, that felt good because that's my money. There's no boss, you know, it's me. And like, well, sure, you know, the industry sucks. It all sucks, but like, at least that's me.
I've always been a big fan of piecework rate anyways, where like you get paid per job instead of just like an hourly thing where you're like tied down to a desk. It's like, you know, getting paid per dick seems like way more acceptable to me than just like having to deal, you know, by the hour, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, so I'm like really low level. I pretty much work exclusively on Grindr when I work, which again, like I don't have to anymore, which is really nice. Cause I got like a stable custodial job. But yeah, no, I mean like it, you know, I think people think that sex workers do make a lot of money, which there definitely are some who do. But I think most of us are not. I think most of us are scraping by, and using our bodies in whatever way we can, you know, even if we can't get a job, you know, in a warehouse, we can get a job using our bodies in other ways, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just think that there's like this really big misconception about the money that I'm trans, but that sex workers generally make. I think much more of us are survival than people seem to realize.
It's the actor or actress or it's the actor thing, right? Like where it's like everybody thinks actors are coddled and make a ton of money, but only a few actors are coddled and most of them don't make a ton of money. You know what I mean? Like it's very true that there are actors that make millions and millions of dollars, but it's also very true that like almost everybody else in Hollywood is making what a normal person makes to live in a place with extraordinary, you know, cost of living, you know?
Right. The people that try to act in their hometown, like people that act in Columbus and do productions here, like they're not making bank. They're making like maybe $50 a show.
They're doing it part-time. Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, there was a guy I knew that used to hire sex workers off Craigslist, and the amount of money that he was paying, I was just like, this is really low because a guy drove them over here and he's keeping all of the money. I'm 100% sure of that, you know? So it's definitely, it's highly exploitative that, you know, we know that. But it's also because, you know, you can't do it in the open and there's no way to make it, like the prohibition is what's making it more unsafe, you know, is making it more precarious.
Yeah.
For the FOSTA system.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, like, white trans women will sort of have this little bit of a victim complex about, like, specifically, like, real life violence. Like, you know, your office workers being like, oh, someone looked at me on the subway. Like, well, yeah, but, you know, and so I don't want to be that, but, like, the only times when I do feel, like, genuinely, like, I don't know if this is a safe situation is sex work. And it's pretty frequently, like, but it's also like, okay, well, I'm, like, really fucking close to rent for March. Like, I got to get it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do what you got to do, even if it is a situation you know that, you know, could be, like, bodily harmful to you.
Yeah, and you know what? Domina Chiara is in the chat right now, and she's saying that she works about 12 to 14 hours a day. Even she's doing it online, but she takes one day off a week, and it's like more than full time. But it's also
absolutely,
like you said. I mean, her money goes to her though. She doesn't have to deal with some boss saying you don't want to leave under my wing. You know, she's getting the money, and we're in the same boat. I mean, I worked all goddamn day today, and you know, I feel like to make my internet job work, it is 6 days a week of 10-hour days for the most part of constantly being on and creating and giving up all of myself, you know, emotionally to people online, you know, and it's taxing. Not to say it's the same, but you know.
No, I mean, there definitely is. Like, I think that, you know, people think, oh, podcasting, you know, oh, that's so easy. You sit down for an hour or two, you know, record your shit. But it's like, no, there's like so many other things. Not that you're only podcasters as well, but like, and so, you know, people think like, oh, you know, oh, you get $20, you know, to suck a dick or whatever. That's, you know, fine, right? It was like, okay, well, no, I have to put up with all the bullshit of talking to the dudes. I have to put up with all the bullshit of dudes who are leading me on a wild goose chase. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like, if I'm working a day, I'm fucking working. Like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what Anthony.
Yeah, and I think people just think it's just the work.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but no, I was just saying, and I think people just think it's sorry, I think the connection's slow. But I think people think it's just the literal labor, but there's so much else involved.
Yeah, that was if you haven't heard it, when I interviewed Antonia Crane, she was saying that a lot of, like, I mean, the act is one thing, but the emotional aspect of, like, reading this person's mind on who they want you to be or how they want you to act, or putting up with their own bullshit, you know, chasing them around, and all of that is worth way more than $20 fucking, you know. And it's not like it's your in and out. It's not like it's just, you know, it requires a lot more labor than just what is stated.
Yeah, you know, and I think about that a lot, like the emotional labor as well. Like, people use emotional labor in this, like, weird online way where they just mean, like, supporting your friends. But I literally mean this, and this is emotional labor. Yeah. Like, especially, I do some online stuff, and, like, usually that's a lot more focused around, like, the aspects of transness. Like, there's a lot of, like, the fucking sissy shit.
Yes.
Like, that kind of kink shit. I do some, like, phone sex for that, and that's exhausting. Like literally, like, I will need to, like, call, like, a girlfriend to just, like, hey, I need to just talk for a little bit after this. Like, even if it's, like, 10 minutes, you know, like, the emotional labor involved in just doing all this shit for a stranger it's pretty intense, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting with the through line with, like, the therapy to sex work thing, because even that cam girl that I spoke to she was very much a part of the sissy niche and was having to listen to guys, like, really go through some very transformational periods in their life and be a part of that, and also not being compensated to the point that, like, a real therapist would be, or like a clinical person, you know, or even a sex therapist would be, to provide somebody relief. Yeah. It just gets it just has been whittled down to this transactional thing where it's like, I want to come and I have money, you know, and guys have just run on that, on you know, subjugating women to that fucking environment.
Well,
Yeah, that's real.
They don't want to deal with. They don't want to deal with like with people that they perceive to be, because they don't perceive the person that they're hiring as on the same level as they are. So like if they went and really dealt with whatever it is that they need to deal with to like a therapist, I think they would be afraid of what they would find out, or maybe what changes you would have to make in your life to make that happen. And I think that they use this as a sort of therapy that they can turn off anytime that they would want to turn it off. You know what you know what I'm saying? Like where it's like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
A vice thing, yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
anymore.
absolutely. I mean, like, I remember, like, when I was, like, a little fucking kid. I'm young. I'm 20. But when I was, like, a little kid and, like, kind of figuring out, like, oh, this, you know, gender stuff feels weird to me, you know, and Googling that, like, I think I have a lot of the same feelings about, like, the shit that I saw as, like, a 9-year-old online, you know, when I Googled, like, why is boy and girl clothes, you know, and it's, like, half just, like, sissy porn. Like, I think I feel a lot of those same emotions then that a lot of those dudes who are coming to me are, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it's like a lot. Like that's a lot to handle. I mean, there's only been once, but there was one time where I was like really clear that this person was not just like a dude with some issues, that it was like, oh, this is a trans woman, and I think I will do actively harm. Like I think I will be doing active harm to them by doing the shit for them. And like that's like a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, I can
like,
imagine.
But like, I mean, like I'm, you know, I'm faced with individuals every time someone calls me on like the phone's like site or whatever. Like that's a whole ass person, and like they want a lot from you. You know, even if they're not saying it. Like what they're asking for you is like a lot to take on.
They want you to be understanding. They want you to be their therapist. They want you to be their sex doll. Like,
but they don't want you to say it out loud. They want you to just go with the flow and make them feel comfortable and know what they want.
And that in itself is like so challenging in an art form. So yeah.
It's the bartender thing, like we were talking about with the guy last week. You have to be everything to everyone. To quote one of the greatest bands ever. It's a matter of. It's even when we talk about doing call center operations. Like you are talking to people all day long. You can sit in a chair for 8 hours a day and be completely exhausted when it comes to dealing with the issues the general public is having with their credit card bill. You know, there's lots of situations as a collector that I had to listen to the saddest shit in my life. Things that would just make me throw my headset off and go to the bathroom and have to go away. And I was getting paid $12 an hour, regardless if someone threatened my life because they thought they were going to lose their house, or if someone told me that their mom opened up a credit card and it's ruined their life. Like it's like you hear so much tragedy, and then you're not recognized for it, and you're not compensated even close to what's necessary for that. Because the thing, I mean, like that kind of stuff isn't easy to do. I think the OnlyFans statistic that Domina brought up is pretty interesting, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's the internet, you can just get naked online and make all the money in the world. And it's not that easy. Everybody can get naked. Not everybody can deal with the type of folks that are going to be attracted to your fucking nudity, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, especially like for me as like a fucking fat ass like gender non-conforming tranny, like it's like this sort of weird niche where I'm like, I have to sort of perform what I think men will want. Which is like a weird place to be in, you know, because like, you know, I'm like, it's not a buzz cut anymore, but like, you know, I used to have a buzz, like it's short, you know what I mean? Like I'm a kind of androgynous person, but like I have to sort of totally change it in order to find anyone, because there's so many girls out there, you know what I mean? Like cis, trans, whatever, like there's just so many fucking people out there trying to hustle, because I think there's a lot of people who are in a lot of not great positions. And sometimes it feels like it's one of the only outs. but I think for most people, it's not an out that works for them.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's just I've seen on just when trans women share their DMs from guys that are just like, hey, I really like your comics, and then it's like, hey, I want to see you naked, and it's like, I don't do that, and then it just becomes this screed of like the worst fucking things in the world. Like that you're like riding an edge with some of the people that think that they can just pay for you without respecting you.
Yeah. So, Elizabeth, I wanted to also get to, you said you've moved up, and you said it as in I clean toilets, but I remember you, and you were shooting for a janitorial job. So, how's that going?
So yeah, so what's happened is I was at a custodial job. It was like a student custodial job, but it was essentially the duties of a regular custodial job, but I just got paid $8.25 at my college, the community college I was going to. Dropped out of that, looking for work for a few months. Found it just like a production job. Well, actually, first I worked in a warehouse doing custodial, but it was more of a warehouse job than a custodial job. I walked 8 miles every day, and I just called that staffing agency and said, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't gonna work. And then I got my next job like that same week, which was like making batteries and shit. That was a temp job, fucking bullshit. Seasonal job then after that for a month, and
Jesus,
temp job sucks.
You've lived a lifetime.
Yeah, no, it's been rough. Yeah, no, there's just been a lot of changes, not a lot of stability, but yeah, no, I finally got a job at actually another college. Doing second shift custodial for $15 an hour. So like,
great,
that's awesome.
Good shit.
Yeah, you're making more than me hourly. So
and are you
awesome.
digging it? Are you digging
I
it?
actually haven't started yet.
Oh, okay.
I start tomorrow actually.
But is that sort of like the kind of job that you feel pretty good about? Like, because I know you had done it before, and is that sort of what you're looking for? Is that the world you're looking for? Because I can tell you, I think it sounds like a fucking great job to me.
Oh, it's a great job. There's no one like the amount of like watching over your shoulder is so fucking different than any other workplace I've been in.
Yeah.
Like yeah, sure. There's like cameras obviously like everywhere, but like, there's like there are fucking everywhere. But
nobody's chasing you around.
No one's micromanaging me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like clean this wing of classrooms. Yeah, so no, it's absolutely what I like. And I can already tell that this workplace isn't like that. They like, the people they interviewed were like not just whoever sent in a resume, but it was like people with related skills and stuff. So like, I feel like that's a good sign that it's not like,
yeah, for sure.
For sure. Like that shit.
Well, when I went from the call center to the cable company, when I came in to do my interview, they tried to get me to work in the call center, and they were going to actually even pay me more if I went up and took calls instead of working out in the field. But I didn't want to be in a call center anymore, so I just went back out in the field. But if you do, I mean, like, the thing about it is, if you specialize in something, and people call this stuff like non-skilled labor, but if you take a thing and you get really good at it and you specialize in this thing, there's usually another place to go up if you're very good at the thing that you're doing. And if you enjoy, I think janitorial work would be great for me too. Like, I think that would be a really good job for me if I had to get another one, because it feels like work. So you will have something to do during the day.
Takes elbow grease.
You're not sitting around. And if you do, you get a little office, you go in there, you take a little break every few minutes. And it feels like sometimes do you work at your own pace when you do something like that, Elizabeth?
Yeah, usually. This job actually seems really similar to the job, the other custodial job I had, insofar as like it's not the times when there's like a ton of people there. I'm like second shift at this one, so it's like cleaning up after most of the classes, stuff like that. So yeah, no, it seems to be pretty like work as you go,
I'm telling you, you're gonna get that
Yeah.
coveted high school job, and I seen janitors at my high school work 30 years at that place and make pretty good money.
No, this is like a job I'm intending to like really actually try and hold on to because
Hell
I just
yeah.
can't not have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
or like not have a stable job at least, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Stable hours, less mental work.
yeah, $15 an hour at 20
yeah.
years old too is like a big come up. Like I remember.
No, that's fucking shit. Like that's I can save money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not just rent and fucking around.
Yeah, I think I was making that, like, I was so excited to be making that when I was like 25 or 26. I felt like I was very accomplished. So it does, it does create a good, it creates a good foundation where you can also figure out what to focus on other things in your life, and you're not always scrambling, I guess, if you do it right,
No, for sure. Like, the last, 3 months have just been, I can't tell you what next week is looking like because I might have a job or I might not. You know what I mean? So the stress of, not knowing where, money's coming from it's, I think, a really, big stress to have on you for a long period of time.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That wasn't even that long, and I wasn't even, that abject,
It's,
it's so I don't want to overstate that. But it builds up. It's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you this. You just said I wasn't that broke or whatever. It wasn't that bad. The thing is, once you get out on the other end of it, or when you're in it, you don't think you are that. You never think you're that kind of broke.
It's a coping mechanism.
Because I never would have told you. I would say I'm broke. Hey, what are you guys doing? I'm broke. You know what I mean? But I think people, when you say I'm broke to people, they think you probably have $30 or $40 in the bank or something. But when I say I'm broke, I have $7
I'm gonna put
in the bank for a week and a half.
I'm going to take change to the gas station to get to your house.
Yeah.
Put 5 in and hope that gets me there and back.
Yeah. The only time I ever considered myself I lived in what I would consider abject. See, and it wasn't even that bad. I was living in a garden apartment. I just didn't have food, and it was kind of gross, and I wasn't paying my rent and stuff like that. There was a period where I probably would have said I was in poverty, but I always had cigarettes, I always had weed, I always had acid, always had alcohol.
Well, that's just it gets you through.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that you get that shit even if you don't have money for it. Or at least maybe I'm just
True,
assuming.
that is.
Yeah, you find a way.
Doesn't have. You know what I mean? You get that shit even if it's not in the budget.
Yeah, you develop a good personality so that people will share.
Yeah,
but I have to say, for me though, at that age, I think that, and you'll start to realize that you can pull yourself out of it, and I don't support pressure turning people into diamonds, but living through those precarious circumstances and finding something on the other end, you can smooth out the edges.
Right.
Eventually. 20 was the same for me. I felt the same feelings, all that you said, but if you can slot yourself into something and smooth out some of the bumps, it'll happen.
I want to say watching your journey has been actually incredible, because when you started calling our show, it was about Little Caesars.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I was still in high school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just about to graduate high school.
Yeah, I was so happy to hear from you tonight. I missed you so much.
I know. And people that call, we had a lot of people on the road that asked about you too. They were where's Elizabeth at? When's she going to call in again?
Yeah, people when we tour ask about you, and they also ask about your friend. I don't know if you're still friends or whatever, or what happened there, if you're allowed to say anything. Oh, good.
Amanda's doing good?
Okay, that's what we want to hear. They're doing good?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
People ask about you two all the time. You're you're
so
stars in this universe, and we're gonna get.
Yeah, I don't want to take up much more time, but I do want to just say, yeah, I definitely fell out for a little bit. I think sometimes just political, being politically engaged, when you have so much other shit, it just feels like I don't know what to do for myself, I don't know how I can do anything for anyone else.
No, you don't have to explain it.
I've always said that.
I just want you to know that, like, you lived through a rough patch, and it's probably gonna change you forever. But like,
yeah,
you're out on the other side of it now, and you have a victory here. And like, don't, if something happens, maybe there will be more hardship, but I really feel like I can hear in you that, like, you found your place and you found your thing, and that, like, I'm really happy for you. I feel for you that you had what you went through there. And if something like that happens again, please feel free to message the Street Fight account where we can try and get you some help too.
Yeah, what I was trying to say, I guess, is like,
I appreciate it.
What I was trying to say, I guess, is that, I mean, I don't think 20 is the time for it to happen, but me and Brian say that we hit a certain point where we were like, you know what? We just make it fucking work. We're just people that are able to figure it out and keep persevering, and they haven't been able to kill me dead yet with any of their bills or any of their fucking HR policies or anything like that. Like, if you're a fighter and you're a hustler, which, like I said, Brian said, it does sound like you are. I mean, those type of circumstances, honestly, they're the ones that I'm grateful for. Because the folks that don't know what it's like to struggle, they're the fucking airheads that are out here talking about how America is a free place to be, and they've never tasted, any sort of desperation in their life, and they're not grounded people for it. I don't know. I don't want to lose touch with everybody else, and I'm grateful that I came from the dirt, because I think it makes I'm way more proud of myself for coming out from the dirt than having somebody else just pay my way, or having somebody else plan my life out for me, or being born into it,
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
I think
I will. Oh, go ahead.
Tell Amanda we said hi. We will be in Chicago in July. And obviously you two are welcome.
Yeah, we'll put you on the list.
We'll get you on the list. You won't have to pay to get in or anything. I would love to hang out.
I appreciate it.
No
yeah,
problem
sounds
at all.
good.
The chat wants to know where to get where you're at, where they can find you online.
I honestly am not online. If you want to follow my Tumblr, I guess. Which is like, I feel like that's a dumb thing to plug.
Tumblr? No, that's old school.
It's the first Tumblr,
that's where my social
think.
justice started, was Tumblr.
Yes.
That's like literally the only online thing I'm on. I have like a Twitter perspective, but I don't use it.
I totally have
my Tumblr is soup drinker with a dash.
Dash drinker.
And if you're near Chicago and want your dick sucked, or if you just like want, can I say that?
Yeah, no, we absolutely. We want to get dick sucked.
Well, yeah. So if you're in Chicago and want your dick sucked, first off, ignore the thing I said about John before. Please don't get hit by a truck. But you can cash at me at Vivian Daniels 100.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Fanny ass sex work name.
I like it. It's alluring.
Vivian's a great name. Yeah. All right. Well.
All right. Well, have a good one, guys.
Elizabeth, stay in touch, please.
Will do. Bye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the first half of the show and for calling in the queue. I know some of you have been there for a while, but we're going to come back. We're going on break right now. We'll be back to take your calls. Everybody in the chat, you're going to get answered. We got music this week from the one and only Action Cat. That's spelled AKTIONKAT exclamation point. Coming to you from SoundCloud, actioncat.soundcloud.com.
uninspired and unoriginal. And it's a shame, I'm gonna have to school you. You picked the wrong one, you're messing with the red sun. You picked the wrong one, you're messing with the red sun now. Wow! You want in trouble, I'm packing double. Protect your bubble, man, and I just pop, 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 pop. You wanna fight, man, well that's your right. And you'll say goodnight when I just pop, 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 pop. You had a good run, you flew too close to my sun. Now you're burned and you're done, so just stop, stop, stop. My name is Suzanne, I'm cutting loose 'cause I just gotta get bonus. Take off your veil, girl, we're setting sail for some place that no one can own us. I know I've wasted so much time just trying to be real. Maybe that's just how it feels. It's different with you. Sometimes it's hard when no garden. You wanna drown in the showers. Nobody sees you. They've got no need to. They just step on your flowers. Maybe somewhere in another dimension, these wouldn't be this way. Maybe that's okay. It's different with you. try so hard, our class apart, but girl, I really want you. All my dreams and all my fears are all wrapped in one. Maybe let's just have some fun. It's different with you. It's different with you. It's different with you. I can't imagine Memphis without you. With twisted and my Valentine turned blue. And all this time spent wondering if you knew. I wish I could have spent that time with you. You're my friend, but you're so much more too. How can I make it clear? It's you I adore. Ooh, I feel like you never really gave it a chance. But now there's no time. Now you're really gonna say goodbye. Don't leave me now, don't leave me now. Nothing you can last forever. Don't think about it, think about it. I always knew that you would say goodbye. Don't leave me now, don't leave me now. Is there something else I could have done? Don't think about it, think about it. I can't imagine Memphis without you. On the Sunday morning sidewalk, I'll feel blue. Well, Hank Williams songs just won't sound the same. I saw the light that is dreaming. Without you, I can't imagine Memphis without you. No, I can't imagine Memphis without you. No, I can't imagine Memphis without you.
My favorite's when that Nicki Minaj song.
Hey everybody, we're back from break. If you were in the call-in chat, you got to hear us talking during the break. But that was Action Cat. If you don't know them, you can find it AKTIONKAT, SoundCloud.com/AKTIONKAT, Action Cat. Give them a listen. They're comrades, good people. And thanks for sending it in. If you have music you want us to play on Street Fight Radio, send us an email, streetfightradio@gmail.com. DM us on Twitter, StreetFightWCRS, Facebook, Yeah, that's pretty much Instagram. That's the other one. I'm always on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Street Fight WCRS. That's where I do live streams and photos and all that other fun stuff that people like to follow along with. We are going to be doing live shows, a lot of them coming up. We took the winter off by doing a variety show once a month over the last few months. We went to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But this month, we're going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So on the 20th of March, come see us in Columbus. I said that wrong. On the 18th, see us in Pittsburgh. You can find tickets at streetfightradio.com. It'll explain it a lot better than I can. We're going to be in Tampa, Florida on April 1st. We're going to be in Jacksonville, Florida on April 5th. We're going to be in Miami, Florida on April 8th. We're going to be a part of the Mayhem Wrestling event in Orlando on April 6th. That's going to be a lot of fun. They're doing a no-ring death match, so you'll get to see a street fight show and then a no-ring death match. And even now, tickets to the Hellfire Congregation of Radical Egalitarianism Tour number 2 is available. April 29th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. May 3rd, New York City. May 5th, Portland, Maine. May 9th, Providence, Rhode Island. StreetFightRadio.com. The left-hand side has the newest show. The right-hand side has all the links to the live shows. So get in there. Come see us, especially in Columbus. We got Kath coming here March 20th. We're going to have Teratogen open up and close the show. So it's going to be a variety show, but there will be more street fight. So the other variety shows were jam-packed full of guests. People were saying they wanted a little bit more street fight, so we're going to have one guest this time. It's Kath. She's a fucking killer. If you like Jake, you're going to love Kath. She's just a one-woman killing machine when it comes to comedy.
And can I just say, the Brett Payne, Brian Quinby, Kath Barbadaro combination is one of the best combinations on a stage for us, I think.
Yeah, she's wonderful. We get along with her well. She understands us, and she's just incredible.
Yeah, big fan. I almost called her Barb.
Big Barb.
I'm fond of Barb.
Barb energy. Oh.
No, Kath is great.
Kath is not
so
a Barb.
excited for her to be in town. She's going to teach me about scams and stuff.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Let's see who's on the line. This person's been waiting a while, so thank you for listening along. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, is this me?
It's you. Who's
Only
this?
you would know.
Hey, this is Jill from Memphis, home of Action Cat.
Oh,
Jill,
holy
I
shit!
just played your
really?
music.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we love the tunes. How long have you been How long have you been in the band?
Oh, no. I'm not in Action Cat. Memphis is home of Action Cat. Not in Action Cat. I'm just from Memphis.
Wow.
Yeah, Action Cat is from Memphis. Also, we just got a very heartfelt email from Matt G out of Memphis that swears up and down there will be a ton of people to come see Street Fight in Memphis. So we put it on the calendar, and Memphis is happening this year.
I did. I sent Brett a text after.
Oh, cool.
I sent Brett a text after I
Yeah,
read the
I think
email,
Matt-
and I said I sent Brett a text after the email, and I said let's book Memphis in the Midwest tour this summer. So we're gonna hit Memphis when we go to the DNC, that tour. So it'll be in July.
Ooh. Yeah, I think Matt was telling me about that in DSA with him, and he was saying y'all wanted to do something with Memphis rap, and I'm very down for that.
Well, that's Brett and Tom's project. Brett and Tom have a project that they've decided to work on where they're going to talk to some rappers out there. And I mean, I don't want to throw the whole thing out. It's not my project, I helped put it together.
Mm-hmm.
I did say Tom said he wanted to do this project. I said, it's probably not one for me, but I think Brett would be great at it. So I put them two together, and the project that they're trying to do in Memphis is fucking awesome. And then I said, it'd be nice. You'll get to go to Memphis, and hang out for a little bit without me. And he was like, I'm gonna book a show. And I was like, what? I don't mind going. It's not a complaint.
I love Memphis. I only got to see it a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't do Memphis last time. Came close, but did not.
Yeah, I saw you guys on the last tour in DC and Nashville.
I
That
remember
was really
you.
cool.
I remember you now.
Nice.
You saw 2 Hellfire shows.
Yeah, it was great. I saw the first and the last.
That is something. You know how many people really wanted to just see 1 Hellfire show, and you have 2 under your belt. There were a few other people that got 2 in Atlanta, or who were in Atlanta and went home, and we hit them. But that tour was so fun, and we're kicking it back up in Philly this year. So I can't wait to get back out with those boys.
That's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad y'all are spreading the mess.
Somewhat. Yeah, we are. You know what it feels like when we sit home like this for a while? And Brett keeps saying, yeah, we did a lot of work. We did. We did a variety show every month that we've been home. And we did Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're hitting Pittsburgh next week. And it's just like, once you start getting out there, though, it seems insurmountable. Like right when you're in the middle of the big run. You know what I mean? Like last year, me and Brett did, what was it, Brett? We did like the Hellfire tour in July, and then it ended in August, and then we had like 3 weeks off, and then we went on tour with Struggle Session, and then we had like 3 weeks off, and then we went on tour of the West Coast. So in that time, I felt crazy because I felt like we were traveling too much. And now that I'm home and I've been home, I'm like, nothing's happening. We're not doing anything, you know? We're still recording a million podcasts and doing all that stuff, but like, I got to get out and shake hands with people. Well, maybe not this year. No, I'll shake hands. Hey, look, I'll shake hands. I don't care unless you're in New York. No, I'm kidding. I'm just but
elbow touches.
I'll hug. I hug. Okay. You know, I'll hug. But getting back out there is going to be really fun. It's what I think live performing is probably what me and Brett do best.
Yeah, that's what I'm the most on.
Yup. So what's going on tonight? What do you got going on?
So I just finished digitizing the comments on one of the papers that I got feedback on, and it's super annoying because my professor just like pulled one out on me. This is like the only, so I just got out of my spring break, and this paper was like, this is the only thing we submitted for the class so far, really. And like, instead of my professor talking to me or like asking, you know, hey, can you come to my office? There's a problem with this paper. You just fucked it up. Instead of just talking to me about it, he immediately like emailed my dean, department chair, and all of my advisors accusing me of plagiarism. And just the only grade in the class, just 0, dead 0. So I'm supposed to be graduating. I hope that'll happen, but I just finished up. Yeah, and like the only comments he made on the paper were on paper. He refused to have us send in a digital file. Just crazy college stuff, and I'm done with it. I just want to graduate.
Yeah. So you got notes on a paper that you disagree. You got accused of plagiarism?
Yeah. But the plagiarism was because of like weird citation mistakes. But I have like a 10 it's 10 pages that I wrote out, and I have 5 pages alone of citations.
Okay, so it was a citation mistake, basically a technicality, and then you were accused of plagiarism.
Yeah, and instead of like saying anything to me, this man just blasted me to all of these like higher up people. Which, I mean, I get that it's protocol or whatever, but I've been working closely with this dude for like 2 years at this point.
Oh, God.
He just doesn't even want to talk to me about it.
Is he like a super confrontation averse person? Because I am one of those for sure. So he's
probably.
Yeah. Has he ever confronted you about anything ever?
No, I've usually been the one to confront him about stuff, so he's probably very confrontation averse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confrontation averse, and like, there's things like that, like where I just want to like sink into the back of, like, as soon as nice, as soon as I feel like, me and Rachel are sitting right next to each other. If I said something that offended you, and then you responded to that, my whole body would feel the same way as if I was going up a roller coaster.
Okay.
I feel the same way. Confrontation scares the shit out of me.
I like have to run out of the room. That's not excusing it, because I'll tell you the truth. I would have confronted you. First of all, I would have been very scared, and I would have probably called you into a room and said, look, I have to confront you about this. But the thing about me is it would have taken an extra 6 weeks, because I would have also been thinking, like, should I confront this person? You know, I'm so afraid of it, dude. That's why I don't return clothes. Yeah. That's why I don't return stuff at the store.
Same.
No. Because it feels like a Coupons feel like a confrontation to me. That's why I don't fucking use coupons at the store. Because it's like, oh, yeah, I know that's the regular price, but this thing here says I get 30 cents off of it.
This piece of paper begs to disagree that that's the price.
That's what it feels like you're doing, dude. Or like, I've had people like... I earlier today I had a really weird situation where I go to this place that sells like rice bowls, okay, and I order a tri-tip steak rice bowl,
okay,
and they're pushing it down the aisle. They're putting the stuff on. They're like, anything you don't want on this, and I was like, nah, I think it all sounds good. They put this on it. They put that on it. They put this on it. They take 2 pieces of falafel and they put it on my steak bowl. And I had a 2-second panic attack. And then I said, hey, that's supposed to be steak. And the guy was like, we'll put the steak on there. And I was like, okay. And then it looked like he was pushing it past before he put the steak on it. And I was looking at the steak, and I looked at the guy. And I kind of stood there for like a long time, right? And I was like,
just like your eyes are just like welling up with tears. You're like, please, yes, sir. I can't make the steak jump out of the bowl into my bowl. You need to help me out. You need to put the steak in there for me.
That is my psyche, though. In that, like, it was like, if I can't ask this fucking guy if he's going to put the steak on it again, what if he was planning to put the steak on it and just pushed it to the side, though? And it was just this whole weird thing about, like, it really would have taken 2 seconds to be like, let him go. It would have taken 2 seconds to just let him do his job and go. Yeah. But my brain, for some reason, decided that this was because when I order food, a lot of times I feel like a confrontation. Like when you go to Chipotle,
and you have to look them in the eyes,
and they're like, "What the fuck do you want?"
No. That's not what I'm saying, but it feels like they're like, "Hurry up, you know, hurry up with this stuff." You know, we got 5, 6.
I feel the same way, like at Starbucks in the mall.
Yes,
like, I take wrong drinks all the time because I don't want to get it fixed. I did get one fixed the other day, and I was really proud of myself because I usually never fucking complain ever.
Yeah,
but I'll come in, like, I order ahead before I leave for work, and then if it's not done, I'm like, what the fuck? It took 15 minutes to get here. But it's so hard to, like, speak up and be like, excuse me, because they're always so busy, and they're always, like, fucking, like, throwing shit around, and, like, I just feel like a dick for asking for what I paid for.
You also don't want to be Karen on the internet.
No, I don't want to be Karen. I don't want to be your daughter,
You'll be on a TikTok.
No.
I guess this is a good plug for the Wednesday show. I do have a Karen woman at a Burger King that is on fire.
Oh, yep, I watched that.
And she's demanding her money back to the people and
insulting them.
Yep. The people that worked there.
Karen isn't on fire. The Burger King is on fire.
She wants them to go back into the burning burgers to get her $10.75 And then when they won't, she's like, that's why you're making 10 an hour, bitch. And like, she's in scrubs, which is horrifying because we all know that the mean girls end up being nurses.
Yeah.
But we've gone off on a tangent.
But no, that's what I'm saying, though. You don't ever want to feel like that person when you don't want to me. Okay, so like I assume in a normal brain, I'm gonna ask Brett and I'm gonna ask our caller this. In your brain, does that feel like does do you try to avoid being like somebody like that, like on any sort? You don't even consider that.
No, like I will go to the register with coupons like I'm like winning at cribbage. I'm like 15, 31. Like I'm throwing shit down like coupons. Don't scare me. Yeah, I will say to them, the app only gives me a credit for one bowl, but we're as a family getting 3 bowls, so I'm going to do 3 separate transactions. If you don't mind.
No.
If they're not busy.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother you.
No, it earns their respect. Inside. It earns their respect because they look at me and they're like
frugal.
They're nice. Like, you knew. I'm sitting here behind here all day watching families of 6 coming in getting credit for 1 bowl, and they could be getting a free bowl every time they fucking come in.
Wow. So you feel good? Are you like like what is it like customer service stuff for you? Like, do you ever are you afraid to like correct them or anything like that? I'm talking to the caller.
So I've never really, so this is gonna sound very bougie, I guess, but I've never really like worked like a service job like that.
Right.
I've pretty much just been in school, and yeah.
No, that's great.
I mean, I've put myself in a lot of debt for this, but
I want everybody to be in your position.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when you go out and you get food, do you like work at, because I work extra hard to try to make that the easiest. I want to be the easiest customer they had all day.
That's also
like when I get in a store, I want to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do have to. I don't complain about food. Like if something comes wrong, I don't really care. I feel like it's all edible, and I'm grateful to have it. I'm not one to. Very rarely would I send food back. It would have to be horrific, and I haven't had an experience like that in a very long time.
Right.
To say this is an edible or whatever. I'm like, I'll just power through it.
Y'all want to hear something that you want to hear, like a real nightmare freak me out thing that happened recently?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys this, and Brett is involved in it.
Tell me.
Too. Brett is actually a part of this story.
Whoa.
We went to a restaurant to eat brunch with a bunch of people, and we sat down, and the menu, I mean, you know, it wasn't the people's fault. It wasn't anybody's fault, the whole thing. But the menu came, and it didn't have a lot of vegetarian options. Mm-hmm. And it also was kind of expensive. And we didn't know we weren't paying. We weren't paying. Like, but... What? No,
you won't know it.
No, it's in Detroit.
It's not here. No.
So anyway, Brett...
No, it was funny because we were sitting there with Tanya from the Trillbillies, and the woman comes up and is like... Hey, hello, we have a special on Bloody Marys this morning. They're $9. And then Tanya goes, well, hell, what are they regularly? And the woman's like, I don't know. I think they're like 12 or 13. Or she's just like explaining how expensive these things normally are. And I was just like, eee.
$12 drink. It better have like protein in it and like
you gotta
gut health in there.
So to get in here, we didn't know we weren't paying yet. First of all, we thought we were gonna have to pay for this food, and the waitress is coming around, and my wife and his wife are like, "We'll share something," you know what I mean? And I don't eat breakfast. I just had a Soylent. I was like, "Just bring me some coffee. I'll sit here with these people, and it's wonderful." And Brett, though, when the menu's coming around, the lady's standing like right behind us is like, the whole fucking thing's too expensive. I hate this fucking place so much. I hate it. And I'm like, I don't think that I personally probably the wait staff.
She probably has the same sentiment.
Yes, but it felt to, and he wasn't attacking her. He wasn't saying it to her face. He was just kind of, and wasn't personally even talking about
Didn't
her.
realize she was
He's
there.
just in a grumpy mood. But I figured she heard it, and I was just like, I'm terrified.
Like embarrassed
right
for her.
Well, no, I was scared because I thought like she would be like, hey, I don't come up with the prices, dickhead. And he would have fucking been like, oh, you don't.
Rachel and caller, let me tell you the situation I'm in to really paint this picture. There was only one item on the menu I could order: quesadilla, which is kids' food. I mean, quesadilla is what is on the kids' menu.
That's the picky eater's choice.
Yes, exactly. It's right next to chicken fingers. It's the vegetarian that is not very adventurous with food.
Mm-hmm.
It was $16.
Oh my god.
Peppers and onions and cheese. Peppers and onions and cheese and a flour tortilla.
The Ron Burgundy's cheaper than that at local. Like, that's icky.
I can't even eat cheese, so it was gonna give me a stomach ache. Like it did. I ended up eating it because like my stomach was touching my fucking spine by the end of this thing, and they had leftover quesadilla, and I took a couple bites of it, and the whole ride home I felt like my stomach was about to explode.
Oh god. I can relate to you on that too.
Where was this?
It was at a fancy place in Detroit.
It was some gentrifier hotel in Detroit.
Overrated. Fancy.
But you know, Brett's a sweet guy. I don't want to make it sound like he was being mean at all.
I do.
He was being grumpy to me and Katie and
I didn't know she was there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an honest mistake. I mean, I say shit like that all the time when I don't think people are listening.
Yeah.
So yeah,
She's like right behind me. Katie even.
I be talking shit at work all the time.
It fucked me and Katie up so much that even when we got home, Katie's like, "Can you believe Brett said that stuff was expensive right in front of the waiter?"
But it's not like that's anything to do with her. You didn't say, "Oh my god, that waitress is a fucking dog. I cannot believe."
Well, I'm a proud hillbilly. I've grown. I'm going to become my father. Where I'm going to be like, "What is this little ass portions for too much money? Get out of here with this horse shit."
Brett is like a dream. Brett is really like a dream customer if you're working at like a restaurant or something. He's fucking nice to everybody. He tips big and stuff like that. So I'm not saying he's like even evil. It's just, man, sometimes we get in a mood. He was just in a fucking mood, man. But
everybody has those days.
Yeah, hey, fuck, dude. You wake up on the wrong side of the fucking bed.
Yeah.
Brett tried to get us to go to the casino the night before. We got back at like midnight. He's like, "Well, I gotta go. Katie, you want to go over to the casino?" like I wouldn't go.
Going?
But it was in Canada, so we couldn't have gone anywhere.
Yeah, we could have went to the Detroit one though.
Yeah.
Two nights in Detroit. I spent 2 nights in Detroit in the last 2 weeks, and both times at the end of the night, I was like, "Well, we're not at the fucking casino. Let's just pass out." Yeah, I'm going to hit myself in the head with a hammer if I can't gamble.
Wow.
I'll hit myself in the head with a hammer if I can't gamble.
Anyways, has anything come of that? Like, are they doing an investigation, or has that already been done for your paper?
Oh, yeah. So no, I talked to the dean about it, and the dean was like, he should have talked to you about it. Nothing's really going to happen. And I was like, okay, like, I can deal with it. I just have a 0 on the paper, and I can, like, get up from that. I'm just going to have to bust my ass, and I really just want to graduate, and I'm very done. I just want to graduate. But I do have a question for you. Is the drugs on your shirt the destroy, rebuild until God shows drugs?
Yes, it is. And I don't.
Okay, so.
Please, I've had this since I was 14. Don't judge me too hard. I just. Yeah.
No. It's okay. I just wanted to say I met Craig Owens this week because
because they're coming back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I heard they're coming back. Like they have a new single out.
Yeah, they do. And so I met him, and I talked to him a bit after it because he was saying that like he was from Detroit in the Michigan area. So I like shilled Means TV to him and was like, "You should get in contact with Nick."
Yes, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, I didn't even. That's really cool.
Who is drugs now?
It's the reason I was into them is because Matt Good from First to Last, but they're like, it was a band that was together for like maybe a year. They went on Warped Tour is where I got this shirt. I didn't even get to see them, but yeah, they made like one album and then they faded back into and it's Craig Owens from Chiodos, he's the lead singer, and then Matt Goods, who's the guitarist and singer from First to Last.
Can I say I didn't know you were that cool back then. I probably would have hung out with you.
I was like a little cool. I will say this stuck with me for a long time. We talked about Juno once when I was a teen, and you were like, "No teen can be that hip." And I was so offended inside because I was like, I think I'm kind of cool.
You were. I didn't know. That was a different. There's a lot of stages in life you go through, and one is like,
I wasn't that offended, but
well, no, what I'm saying is,
but I saw what you said.
It's a stage where I lived downtown probably at that time, right?
Maybe.
And I was.
No, you lived where you lived because I was babysitting for Gwen. It was a while ago.
So I lived in Grandview at that time. There was a period of my life where I thought that made me very important and intelligent and sophisticated and stuff and hip. I thought I was like the hippest guy in the world. By the way, I was wearing like the worst pants.
Well, I thought Juno was like the hippest chick in the world, but then I was like,
she's kind of like, she's not that
no,
cool.
There shouldn't. No, 20-year-old men should not be hanging out with teenagers like that in any sort of way.
Well, I mean,
no, he was.
I'm saying Juno. I mean, in the movie, Juno is fucked up.
Just taking me to the North Market.
No, I knew that. I'm saying Juno is a fucked up movie now. I look at it.
Yeah. I am mean to teens too, because teens aren't hip at all. They're terrible at it.
Yeah.
It's about some dude that's about to have a baby that falls in love with a kid, right?
No.
The movie Juno?
The baby dad is also a high schooler, but I will say she had a friend who dated a teacher, so that was the whole.
No, wasn't Jason Bateman like into her real hardcore? Oh, it's a different movie. Yeah, sorry.
I think Jason Bateman. There is a weird. But
oh wait,
they listen to like records and shit and weird shit.
It was like nothing though.
Yes, it wasn't anything. They didn't kiss or nothing.
No, but
he thought it was something.
That's all that matters. That there was insinuated is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what is weird about that movie.
Well, she was just naive and dumb. And
that was the other weird thing about me. It's so funny having you on the show, Rachel, because it was like I was taking you to the north. I go to the North.
You
Market.
like shaped me a lot, like politically and like socially, like with those talks. So
well, I go to the North. So I go to the North Market probably every month or two, but. Every time I brought one of you teens over, I was like, oh, hey, let's, I like to go over to the North Market and buy some pretzels and maybe a few things. That's like our big store.
Yeah, no, that's exactly.
I love doing that.
No, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever because I never got out of my little like suburb of Columbus. So it was cool for me. And they would show me they'd take me to a cool restaurant and I get to babysit Gwen. It was a good time.
Yeah, it is. I tried. See, I do hang out with teens, okay? Yeah. Well, none of them are left. Rachel I think Rachel's like the last one that would even know anything about me at this point, but I did good.
Yeah.
Anyways, really
well, hopefully I think that there is going to be a confrontation and I'm very interested in how that goes. Are you gonna have to
Yeah, I still haven't talked to him about it. This happened 2 days before our spring break, so I just talked to him about it.
Sadalist stew.
Oh, why do bad things always happen before you can't fix them?
I really don't know, but I do want to ask your guys' advice on something. So I had dinner with my dad, and I came out, and we were doing the whole politics thing, and him and my mom are both really into Trump.
Okay.
And I've been doing canvassing for Bernie and all this stuff, and I came out to my dad as an anarchist, and he was like, anarchy is freedom. That's how everything should be run. And I'm like, why? And he did not answer me, how this converts to him being a Trumper. I think it's a kind of libertarian anarchy thing, but it's just it caught me so off guard for him to just straight up say anarchy is freedom and I love Trump.
Yeah, I mean I've started following the anarchy hashtag on Instagram, and it's all right wing shit. It's all the majority of the memes and all this stuff is just about like fuck it, let it burn, and like there's no community involved with it. It's just I'm on my own and I've got my truck and my gun.
Anarcho-capitalism, the yellow anarchism,
yes,
is very popular with like libertarians and even probably with a lot of Trump guys, because it is their belief that the whole world will fix if we just, I mean, honestly, part of them's right in that if we did redistribute the wealth equally, which is what I would consider anarchism, because you can't have a hierarchy if you create a hierarchy when people have more than other people.
Right.
And they think that like that will be the best way that things can be run. Everything will self-regulate and we'll all be okay. We'll get health care, and that from capitalism will provide. But like if I talk to people like that and they're with Trump, I just, what's really hard about this is because the best way to get to a libertarian is with the ICE raids. It feels like, right? But it's not the best way.
Yeah.
It's not, though. It's not the best way. Because you're basically going to have, like, if I had to talk, I would emphasize that everybody's material needs should be met before there are billionaires. That's probably where I would go, because, again, a lot of people with Trump think it's great that ICE is, like, picking kids up at school and taking them to detention centers. They think that's fucking great. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But you can push back at like, what have you gotten since Trump was the president? And when they start listing these what they got, what they really got was like, they got kids in cages. They didn't get anything. No. We got nothing. Me as a person, I didn't get shit when Trump was president. And the idea is that like he isn't going to give you anything. Your life isn't going to get better with him. But wouldn't it be great if you kind of start talking to him about your philosophies and laying those things out? That's what I do. I kind of listen to what they think, right? Like you hear these are so when you start talking to your parents about politics, the first 5 things they say are probably the most important things they believe in. And you really need to be able to go in there and either help them readjust their priorities, or you need to go in there and tell them how, well, in this case, things would be better if we did it this way. Like, they don't hear, like, actual solutions to these things. They just hear Trump saying, I did it and it worked. It was great. And
to be fair, like, I'm in a similar position. Like, my dad's a libertarian, and at least that's what he says, and he has just lived some really conflicting views. But no matter what you say, like, they're not gonna come from a place of wanting to listen anyway. Like, they see you as a dumb kid, pretty much. A kid, yeah. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah.
My best advice as someone who's in the exact same position is, I mean, obviously hold your ground and just don't expect to, like, change their mind ever.
I mean, I feel like it's important in those points.
It's really funny to play with them.
Oh, yeah. No, it's funny to, like, listen to them get mad about certain topics, but it's also, like, funny to, like, let them think they're swaying me in some way, but it's just not the case.
Yeah,
I would say, I mean, you have to, in those moments, if you have the chance to at least say what you believe, I don't think you should put any weight on whether or not they believe it or how they accept it. To having the opportunity to say out loud, and not to accuse them of anything or to say that they're doing this or that wrong, but just to say, I believe in Bernie Sanders for the following reasons. That's the kind of way to keep yourself whole, and you feel like you're being genuine with your family, and that even if they completely disagree, you got the chance to say what you said. It's not just like we only talk about Trump at the dinner table. You should at least have your opportunity, and you don't want to spoil the relationship unless you want to burn the bridge. You can do that, but for now, if you can politely listen and like Rachel said, pretend like you're taking it in,
humoring it.
Yes,
I guess.
yeah.
Just to
That's
make
so-
nice.
that's the way to
It's
do
been
it.
hilarious recently because we just crack jokes at Joe Biden like every time
Yeah.
I
Common
see
ground.
them. It's just jokes and jokes at Biden. Yeah.
But I think as far as like him giving you the anarchy in and letting you, or like giving you a point there, like what Brian was saying last week, I was thinking about, with Jeff Bezos and that we reward people for just being the first ones to get there. It's like a capture the flag game. Like the people that made the car, it was the people that got the resources. Jeff Bezos was just the first person to sell books online. Now, this was eventually how all commerce was going to be done. There's no reason that the first person that tried it deserves all of the money because we're all kicking into this thing. He's taking away from our freedoms simply because he started a new cultural trend that belongs to all of us and is nothing that he has any sort of ownership over.
Yeah. I looked up his net worth again yesterday because somebody was like, he's got $65 billion. He could give away $64.5 billion and still be too comfortable for my taste. And that could also solve like almost all of our problems.
Yeah.
And like I brought that up to my father-in-law. Like I just started talking to my father-in-law about it and trying to explain the money and stuff like that to him. And he said you got to be careful when you start talking about going for rich people's money and I was like, I don't give a fuck about them. Like they are hoarding it, and it's not impolite to say we deserve this. They think we're whining, right? Like that's the other thing you got to look at with the Trump side is they think that we're whining, but we are demanding what we're owed. It's not whining. It's collecting on what, the people that came before us gave away. That's what we're here for, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you go, but I want to share something really fun that I heard while canvassing. I came up to an Amy Boucher stan, and he was like, Amazon shouldn't be taxed because Amazon doesn't make money.
Nice.
I have heard
who's he
that
gonna
one too.
How those employees are treated.
Yeah, who's he gonna? I mean, who is he like cheerleading for? Does he hope Amazon's gonna hear him?
Hope he hears this, bro.
Yeah.
Hope he sees this, bro.
He's simping for Amazon. And like, who does that?
They're like, I heard one today that was like,
Trumpers are simps for rich people. Like, that's all it is.
They are.
Somebody wrote into a podcast and they're like, you always bitch about how the Amazon hasn't paid any taxes, but they paid a lot of payroll taxes. It's like, no, I mean, the people's, they took that out of people's checks.
Well, that's the other thing that infuriates me, though, is if Jeff Bezos is worth $121 billion, he should have to pay his employees like quadruple what he's paying them now.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
maybe that's where the money is, Amazon.
There's an Amazon in my hometown, and like the big thing, I mean, you guys have talked about it, like everyone who didn't have like a hope after high school just went straight into Amazon because they make $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And they're still just like wasting lives away, and it's like a cult.
A lot of them lose too. A lot of them get out. Like, I mean, the thing that hurts really warehouse workers especially, and this is a thing that we've beat the hammer on through the whole times we've done this show. But if your car breaks down, and you work at a warehouse, you're probably going to get fired. Like there isn't really a way not to get fired at a place like that.
The attendance is
But the amount of money that Jeff Bezos has, he could buy every single person that works for him a new car, and it wouldn't make any difference in his bank account. I mean, I just yell at my grandpa and my father-in-law. When we fight, I always just say, I'm just trying to take what I deserve. And we deserve more. Like, I probably don't deserve more now. I'm making money to sit around and talk. But back when if I was still like a cable guy, I deserved more of that. Like, they were cheap.
Yeah.
And fuck this.
Yeah.
I want it all back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, like, taxes, like, that's our money. Like, we're paying money. We're paying money that we should be, like, getting back in our roads and not having potholes everywhere and, like, I don't know, making people not starving and homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all going to the DOD, and they're just wasting their money.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, dude. Shout out to the Memphis Mid-South DSA.
Mid-South is such a cool.
And also Memphis in general.
We'll be there, I promise. July. Just look for us.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be around.
Yeah. Home of Jerry Lawler, home of Tommy Wright III. All of the greats.
Elvis Presley.
Yeah. He's all right.
Well, I mean, you don't like Elvis, but Elvis is a big influence of one Glenn Danzig.
True.
Which means no Elvis, no Danzig. I'm unhappy.
Elvis Blue Christmas is the best version that there is.
Well, Danzig has a Blue Christmas that's actually really good, too.
Oh, I haven't heard it.
I'll tell you what, too. I know I said this last week. Danzig is probably our greatest American artist. One of them. One of the top greatest American. And it is a shame that people don't respect him the same way they respected like Led Zeppelin and shit like that. Like Danzig should motherfucking be there. He's made so much timeless stuff. And it's all very spooky, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff. You know, I like that spooky dark man.
Right. Well, next caller. We got a couple to go.
Okay. We got 15 minutes.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, it's Lerm.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know you were calling.
What's up?
I love this show. I want to do ABCD shows every week now. We get Lerm. We get Elizabeth. What is going? We have this is the night. Huh? It is. This is the most fucking fun. Rachel, Lerm is cool.
I've heard a few shows, or I mean, maybe not a few, but I've heard you call in before, and yeah. I remember you. What's up?
So how's it going?
Oh, I'm good. Just hanging out by the fire. Pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Where at?
Got an indoor fireplace. My boyfriend's parents' house, they have a fireplace.
Is it cold where you're at?
No, not at all.
You should have had
it's just
outdoor.
for the ambiance.
Yeah. That's good.
I mean, the truth is,
that is better. That's always better.
if I had a fireplace, I would use it every single day, except for the summer. Yeah, I would just, it would be like, oh, hey, I just got home from work, I'll put my stuff down and get the fire started, then move on to doing other stuff. Oh, I want a fireplace.
It's like such a good vibe, just like vibing off the fire.
It's the best vibe. I grew up with this dude whose grandma was like a party animal.
Okay.
Brett's like, okay, I'm listening. His grandma was like a super party animal, so we would go over to her house and party with her when we were young. You know, she would party us up. I mean, and she's grandma, so you're like 16 years old, and a grandma tells you to cut the shit. You cut the shit. You know what I mean?
So she'd give you like a belt of whiskey and a pecan sandy or something?
No, she would fucking make a bunch of food, and then we would all go over there, and she would let us get drunk and high and stuff there.
Did she give you pecan sandies or Werthers or anything?
She didn't cook a lot of stuff like that.
No, party grandmas don't have time to bake shit.
Some back of the box casseroles.
No, she didn't really.
That Stouffer's family-sized macaroni and cheese with the crispy edges.
Yeah, she would do stuff like that. She'd get that rolling. Yeah, you're right. You're on the right track there. She wasn't like the grandma that cooks like the best cookies.
Looks like we got a bunch of hungry men in here.
There you go.
They were 5 for $10.
Feed you all for cheap.
There you go. So we used to go. We used to go over there and party all the time. But one of the best features of it was they had one of those big wood burning stoves, like they had in houses back in like the days of when that movie The Lighthouse, like back in those days.
Little House on the Prairie shit.
People still have them.
Yeah. Well, she had them, and it was very nice, and it had these 2 big balls on it. You could pull them off of it, and they were hot, and they were hand warmers.
What?
Hot balls? Hot balls for your hands?
Big, hot, like brass balls.
Ooh.
And you guys are the gross ones. This isn't weird. They're orbs.
No,
orbs.
I support it.
Spheres.
Yeah.
They were spheres.
So stop being perverts about the balls.
I mean, I can't help that it sounds funny.
Yeah. Well, neither can I. That's the fucking problem. I can't make it sound less funny. They had the hand warming. They had the hand warming balls in it, and you could also, which incidentally, when I'm outside and I'm really cold, I also put my hands on my balls to warm them. So there are hand warming balls.
Warm. It's a warm spot.
It is. But anyway, I just I loved that thing, and I always have wanted one now. But I will never live in a situation where I can have one of those.
I really like, I've been playing a lot of Skyrim lately, and the way those fireplaces are set up in Skyrim are really cool. It's like an open fireplace kind of thing. I think that would be really dope. Yeah, just completely open. It'd be super cool. Anyway, just
I helped lug a fire, like a gas burning, or oh my god, what am I talking about? A wood stove, fire burning wood stove, up to the cabin I was living in this summer. And it's not set up yet. You have to get pipes and stuff and cut holes in the wall so that everything can come out or whatever. But I have my friends in Vermont everybody in Vermont, it seems like, has wood burning stoves, and that's how you heat up your house.
It's sustainable.
And pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. You do have to feed it all the time.
Ye olden ways, but I mean that's pretty freaking cool though. I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of getting into the homesteading thing anyway, like wanting to live off the land. So that's
are you going back out to the cabin, Lerm?
I'm trying to. I was there all summer, but definitely visiting again because we moved at the beginning of the year to Providence, which is awesome.
Oh, hey. You know you get in for free.
Closer, so. Hell yeah. But I actually wanted to talk about I dabbled a little bit in the canvassing for Bernie.
Oh, how'd that go?
Good. I mean, I only did it twice. And so I moved to Rhode Island in January and started going. The 2 times I went was to New Hampshire because of that very important primary, which Bernie won.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time, pretty much no one even opened their door, which was kind of a bummer. But I did have good luck meeting just random people who were supporting Bernie, which was cool. There was a mailman walking around. It was sort of a mobile home neighborhood, and there's mail slots all in the middle, and he was going around doing the mail, and he was like, "Who are you out for?" And I was like, "Bernie." He was like, "Yeah." And then when I was walking around later, he gave me some hand warmers, which was very nice.
Yeah, what?
Very supportive.
I'm kind of wondering, because when I did it, there were so many out loud Bernie people that the Biden folks, you just can't reach. I mean, they're going to be closed, walled off people that are just going to go do their vote. They're not going to be accountable. It was really surprising to me. And upsetting, like, to see the Super Tuesday results, because when I went and talked to folks, I thought I was going to be arguing all day. Like, I signed up to do it to, like, get into arguments, which I don't mind doing.
Yeah, you were ready for that.
But it was like there was times where it was just like we were convincing people to be more adamant about Bernie. It was like, well, he's doing all this other great stuff too.
Well, Brett, I do think
That's
he's
a good position to be in.
I also feel like he is popular. He's very he polls as like a very popular politician, like our most in the country, the most popular politician. People really like him.
I heard more than once that people said, like, the thing that I know about Bernie is I know exactly what he's going to say next to do, because he's been saying the same thing for 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
They were like, there's no surprises
That's why
about
people trust him.
Yeah. That's
he never changes tune.
And I met, we had a Biden person that just said Biden, Biden, Biden. And we started like saying stuff and they said Biden, Biden, Biden. They waved their hand at us.
Like,
and just
literally, that's all they said?
That's all they did was they waved their hands and said Biden, Biden, Biden,
Right,
Biden,
because
Biden.
they don't want to talk about issues. They don't want to. People don't want to have a discussion about issues because it makes them feel bad about who they are.
That they're going to say some people shouldn't receive things. They're going to come up with means testing or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, the one, like, I mean, nobody was really super crazy, because then the second time I did it, it was the day of the primary in New Hampshire, so it was like, get out the vote.
Right.
And we were kind of getting, like, the dregs of the list, so, like, everyone who was already really for Bernie, like, someone had already talked to them and, like, made sure they got to the polls or whatever.
Right.
So it was a lot of, I didn't really encounter many Bernie supporters, and I did have this Pete lady just, like, yelling at me.
Nice. See, I didn't have to do that. I probably would have been a little bit more defeated if I had to defend against those type of folks. Well, I mean, what was?
But that one was crazy because it was like so everybody there's like, people leave pamphlets or whatever in the doors, and in this woman's house there was a postcard like taped to the inner door that was like a Pete postcard, and so like I just assumed she was on my list, and I was like, okay, some Pete person left this here, which I've actually not really even seen Pete flyers otherwise, but I just assumed that. So I knocked on the door and she comes out and she's like, hey, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm here volunteering for the Bernie campaign. And she just starts going off. She's like, can't you people read? Like, I like Pete. And she was like screaming at me. This like old ass woman.
That's libs, man. Liberals are mean. They know it. That's why they're projecting it on us. The Bernie, the noble Bernie bro.
And she wouldn't even let me cut in and say, like, because I was trying to say, like, oh, I, misunderstood what this was. I thought someone had left it here and, like, I'll be leaving or whatever. But she wouldn't even let me speak. She was just, like, yelling at me.
She had her opportunity to pounce on and yell at a Bernie person.
Yeah. There's a house in my neighborhood that it's just depressing, but it had an Amy sign, a Biden sign, a Bloomberg sign, and a Pete sign in it.
Wow, that is intense.
It was all of them in the same yard.
Is it a conflicted family or like one person going through the list?
That's a never Bernie. That's a hashtag never Bernie.
I walk by this never Bernie's house every day. He had Bloomberg first, to be fair.
Sad. That's sad.
Then he got the other ones, but Bloomberg probably had a better mail system or what. I hear people order Bernie signs. They're like, "Can we get it in like maybe the next 3 weeks or something like that?" And anyway. I walked by it again today and yesterday, but I discovered that all of them are gone except for one, and it's the Biden one, and it has a Mayor Pete sticker on it.
Oh my God.
That's the ticket they want.
No, that's
the dynamic duo.
Yeah.
That would be the worst thing. I think from now on, people hate Pete Buttigieg.
Man, I hope I just never hear from that guy ever again.
I know
he's going to go down as a villain.
He's going to come up with something else that he wants on his resume.
He's going to go down as a villain of history, I think, for a lot of us. I think we're going to remember that name. So, Lermy, I want to ask you a question though. After doing all this canvassing, because this is what kind of the switch that flipped inside of me was. I later, after canvassing, went over to a friend's house, and they were talking about, and their parents were talking about, the mainstream media, like some MSNBC show that was talking about Bernie Bros. And how mean they were. And there was this big conversation about how mean people were online. And in that moment, I was just immediately insulted because of the level of hate and bigotry that like the Trump people are putting out there, that like that swastika got flown. And I'm going door to door and saying, hey, would you think about your neighbors that don't have health care? Let's give it to them. And I'm we're getting lumped in, and they're giving actual airtime to this narrative that we're just the meanest assholes in the world, when it's really just that we've finally started sticking up for ourselves. Because I think that the liberal mindset is like, I give a fuck about me. You understand? I'm going to vote for Joe Biden because I give a fuck about me. And we've never had the power, we've never had the ability to talk and organize in a way and really be disrespectful to fucking rich people in a way that makes them feel bad. And that's what it is. Like it's weird to see the people that are the woke people that push identity politics as the number one thing and are just completely willing to ignore Bernie Sanders as offering the same type of message that AOC is, or Talib, or any of those people. Like there are AOC fans that fucking hate Bernie Sanders and would never vote for him, you know? And it's this weird disconnect. And I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a disconnect. Doesn't make any sense. And I'm not on Twitter, so like my brain is preserved. Maybe it's more intact. I don't know.
Pure.
But
it's wholesome. It's a good brain.
I just like, it seems like such an insane comparison to make when like like Trump people, you know, Charlottesville, like actual Nazis at the Bernie Sanders rally, and like, I don't know, the identity politics stuff is annoying as like, just like being a woman and like seeing people being like, Elizabeth Warren, you know, what a loss for women. But like, I just want everyone to have health care.
Yeah, no,
like,
I definitely.
That's more important.
Share your
That's
frustration.
what feminists do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Like, you see a lot of people that are just like, oh, you're betraying your sisters by voting for the going with the Bernie Bros.
I'm trying to help everyone.
Yeah, no, that's exactly
And the like, you know, all these old white men or whatever. Like, it's just so flattening. It's like not what, you know, because one, like the Bernie coalition is like not about Bernie necessarily. It's about like everyone else. And that's like in the slogan. So it's just like, it's just ridiculous to like even talk about like bros on Twitter or whatever, as if like that's the whole movement.
Yeah, that's what I've really avoided I've really focused on, and I was really excited by the amount of folks that were excited about Bernie, and those are the people that I know I can rely on. Like, those, I will remember them forever. The people that, you know, were down for the cause, that I randomly knocked on their door and talked to them about it. Because looking at the other
people that you meet, like wall canvas, like the other canvassers or whatever. Because I got on a bus and did the Bernie journey or whatever. And like on the bus, like the conversations you're having with people, and it's just like, it's like all kinds of people too, like all ages and, you know, all different kinds of lives. And it's nice that everyone can get kind of on the same page for something.
Yeah. I mean, we're, you know, there's a lot of spin, and there's a lot of conservativeness that is working against, you know, what we're trying to do. And I mean, if you pay attention, the Biden stuff like really does hurt my heart to know that people are willing to just go pull the lever for the guy. And, you know, you talk to people that make up their own narratives about candidates. I talked to somebody that was like, we mentioned or said that Bernie was like doing civil rights activism in the 60s, and someone said, wasn't Elizabeth Warren? And we were like, no, she was a fucking Republican. No, like, and they were like, really?
Pretending to be Native American.
Yes!
Yeah, like they had made up they had made up a thing that she was just the female Bernie and like we hated women. Like they were like they thought she matched toe to toe, and I was like, no,
not at all.
Wow.
It's a very different
The
thing.
power of memes, I guess.
The
It is.
Elizabeth Warren thing, I gotta tell you, is powerful heel turn to me. I felt. I mean, look, she's gonna get elected probably now sometime because she chose sides, and when you're on that side, you get your shot at the president. You know what I mean? You get your shot at the president.
I mean,
yeah.
Whatever. I don't even want to what is there to say?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that then you get to be on SNL, but who cares? Whatever.
Right. Well,
I don't need to talk about her anymore. She's done.
Yeah, I agree. Well, she could endorse, but
she's
probably gonna endorse Biden anyway. So
I think I think maybe it doesn't matter what happens right now. Getting the presidency is a fucking lofty goal, and we don't have a broad coalition of people. That is a gigantic movement, but we do have a fucking shot, and everybody, I'm going in on it too. I'm trying to help. We're all trying to do our thing. But, as I was also canvassing, when I was talking about Morgan Harper, who is the person that we interviewed earlier this week, there were several people that were also very excited about her. So it's like local politics right now. There are a lot of people that are pushing boundaries, and we've seen them get elected. We've seen street fight representatives make it to the office. We've seen DSA candidates are a thing now, and this is becoming a more grassroots movement that is not going to ever move at the pace that we want it to. Yeah. It's not going to be as fast as we could ever want, but it is. I mean, the DSA cards that we were handing out said vote socialism on March 17th. And I was running around handing that out and just thinking about when I was like 8 years old, my parents bought me this toy machine gun and you put like 8 double D batteries in it. And the thing just fucking shook like a jackhammer, and it was painted like the American flag. And I can just imagine all they wanted me to do was use that American flag machine gun to shoot down some fucking socialists.
A good old boy, enlist, and
But it was
flag stick. What?
It was just that.
Sounds like a pretty good play.
People know. I mean, people know what is up right now. People know where we're at. People are educated on the subject. And the conversation I had afterwards with somebody else was that people think that America is moderate when most of the people you talk to are pretty fucking they're extremist. Everyone is an extremist in their own unique way. Yep. And we have a lot of confused people that have chose like radical centrism or whatever it is, or like I'll never.
But that's an extreme. That's like an extreme point of view. It just doesn't seem that way because of like the, soup that we're living in. Of, like,
I was talking to somebody.
Right wing.
I was talking to somebody about Bernie. It's like, sure, he can get elected, but what can he do? And it's like, I don't know better than what I'm listening Trump is going on. I don't give a fuck what he can or cannot do. Why are you saying no? Let's not take a chance. I don't get it. We're blue no matter who here. Why not go for the person that can benefit people? I don't get it.
Like it's the primary. What do you think the primary is for?
Yeah.
Right.
The thing about the thing about them also is that it's like I think that they hate him and they hate us because we are demanding and he is demanding to be able to hand us more. Mm-hmm. And I really think like the managerial class of people, right? They do not really want us to have the kind of freedom that that healthcare and college would give us. We would then.
Yeah. I mean it's like thinking that other people having a baseline of a standard of living somehow brings you down. But really it raises everyone up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We would crowd their science centers and their fancy restaurants and their exclusive parks, and we'd be able to buy houses in their neighborhoods.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to feel holier than thou anymore.
Yeah, that's really part of it, I think. I think it's like, this isn't fair because the Democrat, it feels like this. It feels like, because I've watched a few campaigns now, and it feels like the Democrats are saying, come on, man, it's not fair to say that you're going to do stuff. you gotta say.
Yeah, that's like it's cheating.
Yeah, you gotta
It's cheating
say.
to tell people that their lives could suck less.
Yeah, and I think they're also like, you're not allowed to say concrete steps for this stuff. Like if he came out and just said, I want to give power back to the working people in America, that probably they would have had more palatable with that, because it doesn't fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What he's doing is offering us power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's offering so much. He's offering to expunge felony weed records.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Dude, and that needs to happen, yesterday.
Yeah.
He's
definitely.
trying to fucking change the whole way we look at things. It's a small step. Everybody's like, he's not as radical as I'd like, and it's like he isn't as radical as I would like either, because I would like somebody to just tear
but that's
down
the
the
thing
United
is that
States,
he's diet
we
radicalism,
we can
but-
work harder and get more people on our side if we live in a society where people are fucking taken care of. We can keep demanding more forever in perpetuity.
And I've even thought, I mean, a lot of the Bernie people that you see at now, those like the factory workers that show up, the teachers unions that show up, those people do have to go back to work. Like they're still working all the time, and they're not going to be fully activists all the time. But the type of change that you're talking about does make it available for more working class people to start spending their time on things like rent strikes or healthcare or what.
art
or
like a fucking
organizing. I mean,
the job they want.
And that happens at work too. So.
Yeah, I mean, even if we created a baseline where you could spend some time finding a job you want, instead of just immediately taking one and holding on to it for dear life because they let you go to the hospital, is kind of like, that's what, I mean, and I think, like, that's the kind of conversations I want to have with people, and that's why canvassing is so hard for me, because I want to be able to be like, let's have like a real conversation. Let me and you sit down, and I will give you what I believe works, and you can tell me what you believe works, and see if we can find some common ground. And you know what? Most of the time, all of the stuff I say, my father-in-law is very good about this. He agrees with every point by point by point by point thing I say. Mm-hmm. And then I say, well, that's socialism. And he's like, well, I don't like that. And it's like, okay, so
the cognitive
we won't use the fucking word then, dude. God, I mean, I like the word, so I'm going to use it. I like communist.
It's a good word. Yeah. Social, like, seems like you have friends and having a good time.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It does.
Positive.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling, Lerm.
Yeah, thank you. Can I plug some stuff?
Absolutely.
Fuck yes, you can.
So tomorrow is the full worm supermoon. So it's a full moon and also a supermoon, and it's also the worm moon, which is a real thing. I didn't even make it up.
That's quite the alignment.
It's pretty awesome.
I'm going to have to make a phone call and see if this is true. I'm going to call these people I know in NASA.
You call the moon. But
okay, yeah. Hello.
Sorry. You can actually read about it in my newsletter. So I'm starting like an art newsletter for anyone who wants to keep up with art that I'm doing and facts about worms. I'm also going to be I'm ranking the top famous worms, like from movies and TV and stuff.
Cool. Where's sneak peek, but Earthworm Jim is on that list, right?
Yeah, so that's not like, it's a video game, right? And a show.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
it's one of the best video games they ever made.
It came up in my research, but I am not a gamer, so
you're not
I don't have. I know I might have to look into it, but I don't have familiarity with it already. But I did hear of it, and it's super weird. Like his look is pretty crazy.
Do you have a console or anything?
No.
Well,
I was gonna order it for you.
Here's what I would say, just because I know you're an artist. So the cartoon is really good because all of the character designs are good. All of the like caverns and stuff that Earthworm Jim.
Is it other worms?
No,
in the show?
there's a whole other types of monsters and creatures that Earthworm Jim fights against. But Doug TenNapel is the creator and has a bunch of incredible graphic novels that are some of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
I think he's
Wow.
I think he has bad politics, but I still love. I mean, he was a big inspiration for me in like my drawing and like the motion that he has and like all of the stuff that he does. Like I really have enjoyed everything I've read of his. So I would definitely get it.
Yeah, and it looks like Earthworm Jim seems pretty powerful. His physique is powerful, so I could see how you'd be inspired.
Yes. The other popular worm I want to say, the video game Worms. You know that one where they're like they do warfare against each other.
They have like guns.
Yeah. It's like it's turn-based strategy. You can load yourself up with like guns and bombs and grenades. You can do like kamikaze pilot stuff too, even. But all these worms are scattered across like this different environment, and they have to like obliterate each other. And that
Worms Armageddon,
one of the best games ever. Worms,
I'd
one
never
of the
heard of it.
finest games ever made.
I wonder if it's on Switch.
It has a physics aspect to it as well, because they give you the wind. They tell you which way the wind is blowing and how fast, so you can like time your like rockets and stuff so that they can like cut through. Yeah, sometimes the wind goes so strong that you'll shoot it right and the whole thing will turn backwards and go left. It's great.
And make sure gummy worms are represented.
Gummy
'cause they're
worms,
my favorite worms.
Just the candy.
Yeah, they're so good.
Yeah. I guess that's famous.
They are.
But the way that you find out about all the worm rankings is by signing up to my email list, which the link is in my Instagram bio. So it's at lermworm on Instagram. That's LERM worm. So yeah, you can sign up, and I'm sending a newsletter out tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell you all about the worm moon and like my opinions about worms, and I'm also gonna be doing like a comic giveaway and like a, showing my painting process and art stuff.
Yeah,
that sounds cool.
It's gonna be
cool as hell.
lit.
And we'll see you in Providence, Lerm. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we had a special printing of your mini zine, How to Live Your Dream Life, which will be coming as a bonus with Street Fight zines very soon.
Awesome.
One of our favorite.
Nice to talk to you guys.
Yeah, have a good night. All right, last call.
All right.
It's an anonymous call. We've had racists in the chat all night long, so I don't know what it could be. Do you want to? You don't want to roll the dice?
Already gone over.
They've wasted. They have waited a very long time.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know, because they will wait over an hour sometimes. I don't know if they're that pathetic or if it's some sort of if it's an automated system.
It's not pathetic. Their goal is to get the N-word played on our show, and they're waiting because they know they can't pick, and then they wait.
Brian, you know what? If I can't gamble tonight, I'm going to hit myself in the head with a hammer. So let's fucking. Oh, they're here. Let's see what we got them. Sorry, I thought they left. Let's hear they are. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Not racist. Please don't be racist. Oh, it's hanging. It's taking forever. What happened to the chat? I think the computer dropped on purpose.
Hello?
Yes, it's not a racist. It's not a racist. I told you.
Oh.
What's up? This is Sophie. I'm calling from Australia.
Yay!
So glad. Friends with Jamie Peck. I think you guys know her.
Oh, it's one of the best.
I went to Claremont Lounge with her.
Yeah, I've been on her show a few times. Pretty cool. Yeah, I was wondering if that was me when you're talking about an anonymous person who might be a racist.
Well, we've had these people calling in and like just playing a song with slurs in it, and I just figured it's the end of the show and they're gonna get us.
And they will wait like an hour and a half sometimes to just do it.
Wow,
yeah,
that's
of course. Hey,
Yeah, no, well, it's Monday afternoon in Australia, so usually I'm at work. but it's actually Labor Day in Australia, so I figured this was my one chance, and it's an ABCD show, so I was like, yeah, I should just go for
You
it.
won big on this gamble.
Yes.
3
I'm
7s.
so glad I picked up. I was gonna say, what if it's someone who really wanted to get on? So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is a happy ending to the show.
Yeah, well, maybe to end your show, I thought something you might enjoy would be talking about how I used to work at the Bohemian Grove. Is a thing that I did as a teenager.
Really?
I server there. So it's kind of a good nexus for you guys because I have some bad food service stories, but it was also at like a weird Illuminati place.
Yeah. So here's I learned about Bohemian Grove by watching Alex Jones DVDs. I would download them off the internet, SVCDs. I would burn them onto a CDR and I would play them. And there was my favorite one was he was at this gas station and he walks up to this truck and he's like, "Hey, have you heard about any of the things going on over there at Bohemian Grove?" And this kid looks at him and his like eyes are just slits, like he's so fucking high, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I have heard of that, man. I have heard of that." And Alex Jones just looks at the camera and he's like, "Folks, you heard it here first. They've been sacrificing children to the owl god Moloch here at Bohemian Grove."
I probably went to high school with that kid. Like,
yeah.
That's like everyone where I grew up.
He was so fried.
Yeah.
It was funny because when I was up in the middle of the night on like acid watching that thing, like smoking cigarettes, I was like, "Oh my God, this kid knows about it." But I went and watched it recently and I was like, that guy was stoned out of his mind. And Alex Jones just absconded him in the parking lot.
That's a special acid trip choice.
Yeah, well, like everyone I know worked there because it was one of the only jobs that you could get in the summer in Sonoma County. And it's just, it's like, it was a good job. It paid like $12 an hour, but it only lasted like a few weeks. So you could do it on your summer vacation. And then, but it was actually, I wrote an article for Gawker about it, which you can find, and I also went on the QAnon Anonymous podcast and talked about it there, but it was actually not particularly exciting, although one of my friends did a very good burn on Jeb Bush while we were there, which was fun.
What was that?
Well, so basically it was just like a regular shitty service industry job working there, except the people you're serving.
Is it like a country club or something? Is it a private club? I thought it was like...
It's like a gentleman's club. It was...
Like Richard Nixon said it was something where like a bunch of guys run around holding each other's dicks in their hands or something. Like they run around and do like elephant walks and shit. It's just like a weird...
Probably. I mean, it's a place where all of these incredibly rich conservative people just like go get drunk in the summer.
Okay.
And
do weird shit.
It's like the Bohemian Club, which has, existed for like 150 years in San Francisco, which is just one of those like really fancy gentlemen's clubs where you have to pay like $50,000 a year to be a member. And then the Bohemian Grove is like their summer getaway. It's like where they go up in the redwoods and they just like hang out and drink and like, sleep with sex workers and like just their whole thing is trying to be like, oh, we're getting away from all of our cares in the regular world and like, all the things that we have to worry about as incredibly rich people.
Do they actually burn a child effigy in the name of the owl god Moloch though?
They do burn an effigy at the beginning. There's this thing called the cremation of care ceremony that happens at the beginning, and that is sort of like the idea is like now we're like letting loose and like, yeah, we're gonna like put on some weird fucking robes while we do it. So it is definitely like trying to be like, we're cool, like Masons or something. Yeah, but you know, you don't get to see any of that shit if you work there, you know, like I did as and actually as a woman, you don't even get to go out of a very, very specific area in the camp because they don't want you there.
I fucking
yeah.
that place. We could do so much good. I'm just saying that. I don't want to say anything out of the ordinary, but a lot of good could be done at that place.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's definitely true, and that's one of the weird things. It's like when you're a teen and you're working there, you're just sort of like, I am just like so below even like the radar of anyone who works here. I am just like a worm to them. I just don't even exist to them.
That's not grown-ups or aliens.
I mean, true too. You're a teenager, and like you're not just looking at like a bunch of dudes. Which, when you're a teenager, just older dudes freak you out a little bit. But you're like, look, they're the most powerful older dudes in the world.
But it also kind of doesn't even matter, like as you said, because you're just like, I'm just in a service industry job. Like I could basically be anywhere, and like you're just still trying to get away with the same shit that you would everywhere. They're very uptight about like your appearance. They're very uptight about like, you know, if you have a piercing not in your ears and you're not a girl, you have to take it out. You can't have visible tattoos. Like they're like really crazy about that kind of stuff. They will fire you for like anything because they have just like an endless line of people they can replace you with. I got fired actually on my last day because the guy who I was serving breakfast with like fucked up everyone's orders by like not being able to read his own handwriting, and so they were just like, okay, you guys are both out, and we're just like, cool.
Wow.
But
what?
Yeah, it was pretty whack. I mean, I was just already like, I hate this place, fuck this place, whatever.
You had to. Did you have any idea how important that place would be in the future? Because like I'm sure you go there and
yeah, I 100% knew. I mean, we were all, I mean, you know, it depends on who you were. There were a lot of different kinds of people who worked there, but some of us were very aware of it, and we were like, holy shit, are we going to see like Donald Rumsfeld or like George Bush or whatever?
Yeah.
And like, as I said, we'll tell the story of my friend who so my friend was working there, and they have like all these, you know, rules because it is like a small number of staff feeding a lot of people. And so they are like, you know, if you want to get a milkshake, you have to do it like before 8 p.m. because after 8 p.m., the pastry chefs are like working on dessert or whatever. And so Jeb Bush like flagged down my friend and was like, can I have a milkshake? And she was like, I'm sorry, sir, which they make us all call them like sir and like, or like gentlemen. We have to call them gentlemen. And I'm sorry, sir, it's after 8 p.m. So like, I can't do that. And he literally was like, can I speak to your manager? And she was like, sure, go right ahead. And the manager came over and he like explained the exact same thing to him, and then Jeb Bush was like literally like, do you know who I am? And
all that
they
over
were
a
like,
fucking milkshake.
Yes, we do know who you are, but I'm sorry, the milkshake rule still applies to you.
Wow. It's so nice when you know, when you have a manager that's just gonna come and say like, no, I mean what they told you. they didn't have to come get me. They told you what the rule was.
Yeah, I love that. I that was always the best. But what that is such a funny story that like he first is like first of all, what kind of a freak sits around at a bar or whatever and drinks a milkshake? First of all,
this sounds like your therapy.
Yeah.
What was
like,
that?
Yeah, I mean, they could also be drinking $500 bottles of wine, which I have friends who like stole them and drank them on their shifts. But they definitely also like dumb shit like drinking a milkshake. But
They probably
I
want
can
him
imagine.
drinks milk, right?
He seems like a milkshake guy. Yeah, I mean, it's just you got
he's
to.
definitely a milkshake guy. Yeah.
You got to. He said you got to. Listen,
I mean, yeah, this is absurd. A milkshake doesn't cost as much as this Louis the 14th these people are swilling. It's ice cream and milk.
Yeah.
This is.
I
they
tell you
were
what,
also
though.
very uptight about not eating any of the food. They were just like, if we ever catch you eating any food on your shift, then you're just like gone.
They're
And
always
it's
like that,
okay,
aren't they?
well,
Let me tell you something, too.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was probably paying $10,000 to get told he can't have his little ice milk.
Oh,
what-
it's like $50,000 a year to be a member, and then I'm sure it costs more to like go to the camp and stuff. And,
Harrisburg,
yeah.
Pennsylvania. After the show, me, Brian, and Jake were at a diner. We got some fill-in. We had all of our dinner, and we asked if we could get milkshakes, and the waitress was like, man, we don't normally do them this late, but there's nobody around. I can make a milkshake for you.
Yeah, she said you guys seem cool. I'll make a milkshake. for you."
Yes.
Nice.
So we got
Fucking
custom
awesome.
milkshakes after 8 p.m. That's the kind of life we're living, Jeb
Yeah.
Bush.
yeah, Jeff.
You can get a
Maybe
milkshake
even
after 8
though-
p.m.
Yeah.
We're renegades, dude. We don't have to live by your like old school standards where no one can have a milkshake after 8 p.m. We don't have to live to the
Yeah.
high society bullshit.
We're fucking like Motley Crue.
outlaws.
And Jeb Bush is Jeb Bush. You know what I mean? Me and Brett live like Motley Crue.
He's a fuddy-duddy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. How much is it's? Did you
Yeah.
say it's $50,000 a year to be there?
It might be more than that, but it's definitely at least $50,000 a year to
A
be a
year.
member.
I-
Yeah,
I-
and also like a big waiting list
Dude, but
to get in there.
you get to run around naked with your friends and set shit on fire
How
and they get
gnarly-
wasted.
How great would it be? Is
Everywhere, saying
You-
to not pee in front of like staff members, but I know a lot of people have seen people like peeing on trees and stuff.
Those guys love peeing
There.
outside. You know what? I love peeing outside too, and I do it, but they never get to do it. So like, as soon as they're out in a camp, as soon as they're out camping or something outside somewhere, they whip their little pee pee out and like, you know,
That's such
spray a tree.
guy instinct, I think.
No,
too.
peeing outside does fucking rock. Because here's the thing about peeing, right? When you're in the bathroom, you gotta hit the toilet. It's like, whatever. You
Well,
know,
no,
you
but
gotta-
nowadays, this new modern way of peeing, you can't pee in the water too hard because it's too aggressive, so you have to curl it around the bowl so that it's quieter. That's the beta male lifestyle.
I don't do
these
that.
days.
I pee right into the water.
No, I curve it around the bowl to not be too aggressive.
Well, I'm an aggro pisser. Okay. I don't even know how I got to peeing in a toilet.
Yeah.
I totally forget where I was going.
All right.
But
We're talking about rich men pissing outside.
yeah, they like to pee outside.
Yeah.
But when you pee, I was explaining why it's great to pee outside. It's because you don't have to hit anything. It's like this fucking moment
freestyle,
of real
Freedom.
freedom where you can just fucking, you know, you get to whip the little guy out there and he just gets to go wherever the fuck he wants to go. And it's nice. It's a good feeling. You
All
know?
right. That's you, but not $50,000. I mean,
You can do that.
Yeah, you can just do that. You don't have to pay
Yeah.
$100,000.
I'm telling you.
That. You can
Fucking
somewhere in the
campground,
wilderness and
you know,
pee.
have your own land to piss on. Like, why you gotta? I don't get rich people.
Yeah.
I don't.
You got Brett.
Yeah.
So like at this point, it is you get to pee outside, and you get me and Brett can pee outside anytime for free. We've done it a million times. We pee outside all the time. So we can do that for free. It doesn't cost us any money. And then 2, we can get milkshake after 8 o'clock. We're like really living that Bohemian Grove life. Really.
Bohemian Grove.
yeah.
We're living
True.
like more like Studio 4 than
And
Bohemian
you
Groves,
don't have
right?
to hang out with like Henry Kissinger, so that's a
Yeah.
plus all around.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I
uh,
would be. Look. If I could get a camera in there so I could see them cutting loose, I would totally get that. But they probably use the N word a lot.
Oh,
in
they're
that
very
room.
strict about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, they're
they're
strict
very
about not saying it.
Oh, about not saying what?
I'm sorry. I said I think they're in that room saying the N-word probably.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Oh, yeah, 100%. But they're very strict about like cell phones. Like someone I talked to who worked other parts of the camp said that they saw someone like smash one of the members' cell phones because they like brought it in. You're not allowed.
Damn.
God, they're wild.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. All right. Well, thanks for calling in. And you.
Yeah, where can we find more?
Yeah, if you get another chance, please call in. I want to only talk about Bohemian Grove forever.
I'm in your Facebook group, and yeah.
What's the name again?
You can Google Sophie Weiner, Weiner. Yeah,
cool.
That's my last name. It's kind of funny. Cool. All right. Well, have a good night, guys. And thanks. Glad that I didn't disappoint.
No, you did amazing. Thank you. It was incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too gross in that, but I do say I support women pissing outside too, especially when they're like squatting down and they fall over and they just start laughing, and then you have to help them up and tell them that it's okay.
But it's
I've
not
done
the
that.
same
I like it. I mean,
piss on your clothes.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, and it
like-
makes me
Katie
like you.
hates it, too.
I respect it. I do not shy away from it. It makes me crack up to see a woman behind the dumpster falling over in heels while she's trying to
My
squat.
mom is a freaking crazy savage, though. Like, she is legit pulled on the side of the road, like on a backcountry road, and like pissed on the side of the road, and then like took off.
She has a method.
Like shook it dry. Like my mom is.
Well, your mom rides motorcycles around, right?
Yeah.
She's
like a motorcycle lady.
She's a motorcycle lady.
So,
She's rough and tough. She changed my battery in my car. She's cool.
Yeah,
motorcycle
okay,
lady.
good.
But yeah, the reason I say it's so great for men is because like it is free. I don't think it's freedom if you're a woman. It's like the opposite of freedom.
It's a challenge.
Because
Not
you
as
have
fun.
to, not because you want to.
For sure.
They have those like she-go things, but it doesn't seem like that would be a better.
I'll have to pee sometimes. I'll just be sitting watching TV and I'll have to pee sometimes. I just walk out the back door and pee on the side of the house instead of peeing in the toilet.
Just because you walk right past the toilet.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
I wish I had that luxury. Like you just piss in the hole in the basement, whatever.
Well, you could sit on the
It's
kitchen
gone
sink
now.
and pee.
It's over.
Oh, no.
You can.
So much athleticism involved.
Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio. You can find what we do on all social media. Tell somebody about it. Buy tickets to the live show. Buy cassette tapes that we got for Jake. You get bonus content. We've got T-shirts. We've got so much going on in this world.
But
We
most of
also
all,
have
buy tickets.
Yes. But there's also, you're doing a lot of Patreon bonus stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. Let me throw out some Patreon stuff. I got some announcements to make. March Madness with Colin Cowherd. Josh Androsky about Colin Cowherd comes out next week. The rest of the shows will be coming out through the month. And then on April 23rd, I believe, there will be a new Shocktober, non-canon Shocktober. And then directly it'll be April 16th, something like that. Directly following that, Holy Boys with me and Tom and many guests. I'm definitely getting Brett on this show.
Tom Sexton from the Trillbillies talking about profit or PRO.
Mega church pastors. You'll be on it too.
PROIFITs.
That's a perfect Brett Payne. Maybe we'll have you come on and talk Creflo Dollar with us.
I worked with a guy that grew up in his church.
But Patreon. The Patreon is fun, and the mini series are I'm getting better and better at them.
Yeah.
And really good reviews for March Madness episode 1. Don Cherry.
Yep.
So
$5 a month gets you access to Holy Boys, American Podcasts, March Madness, the sports show, Shocktober. You get Teen Fight Radio. All of that. It helps us keep this thing rolling. It helps us employ people and spread the wealth around so that we can keep growing this thing bigger and bigger until we're the mainstream and we're bullying all these fucking conservatives and Democrats and telling them what to fucking do and having them lick our boots. We'll see you on Wednesday. We're Street Fight. Peace. Yay.
You didn't even have to do it, but I think we're still streaming.
It should stop. It usually stops. If you stop stop one, it'll stop the other one usually.